Oh my goodness, welcome back everybody, welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. Vikings Season 5, Episode 17, The Most Terrible Things. The recap, discussion, and review. This was an interesting episode of Vikings, coming off what I thought were the two strongest episodes of the season. This was one of those needed episodes that you need to kind of catch your breath and head in for the final 3 episodes of the season. I almost think, more than the cliche that it's become that the second to last episode is where the big action happens, I think the fourth to last episode of a season is always a episode like this. But we have a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. Judith again kicks some serious ass in this episode. We have a swan dive. This was a serious Icelandic episode. And I don't mean there was Bjork music going on everywhere. I mean, maybe. There could have been Bjork music going on everywhere. I can't even sing some Bjork right now. I have problems. Mingy says, "Finally, Phil, what the fuck took you?" I think Brian Dodd is calling me out in the live motherfucking chat. We got our good buddy Antoine Thomas and Bernie, of course, because I'm not alone. I have with me the live motherfucking chat. I don't know why my voice went high there. Usually it goes low with the high, the live. I'm in an extra weird mood on some medication. More medication than usual, and I'm here tonight to talk about this silliness. This episode of Vikings was a fun one, but it wasn't as eventful of big things happening like the last 2 episodes. But there was some cool stuff that proceeded in the Iceland story. As much as I've bashed that story, and I still don't give a flying fuck burger about these people, I generally was... It saddens me to a certain extent that it was overdone to the point that it was, because I think with some tweaks it could have been a more interesting storyline, because the endpoints are kind of crazy and up the stakes a little bit. So this endpoint, the way the dominoes have fallen here, I don't mind the conclusion of it. People say it's all about the journey. It's not about the beginning point or the end point. It's the journey. Let's believe in the fucking journey. And the journey of this Floki thing has been boring. I accept, for me anyways, that I've enjoyed the end part of this. But the whole lead up to this episode and all the stakes that they've tried to build up to the point where we were supposed to care, and this was supposed to be the big huge conclusion to the Icelandic arc, or at least what I assume is going to be maybe not conclusion, but the orgasm point of the Iceland story, that we'd care more at this point. And I know some people probably do. I personally have never cared for this storyline. That being said, I think there's some good performances going on in it. I like the heel turn by the Edge. And again, I don't know him from wrestling, but he definitely had that wrestling heel vibe in this episode. This was the first episode I was like, oh, this guy's a professional wrestler. I can see it. He got the crazy eyes. He's like, I'm crazy eyes killer. That's right. Oh my goodness. Human behavior. There's so much backroom plotting. Edge was on some Eric the Red shit this week since Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb, the amazing, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. We have in the live motherfucking shot. The last shot of Floki was gorgeous. When he looked out, I generally I would liken this. I have enjoyed every part of Floki himself. I think Floki is continuously, I talked about this a couple weeks in a row, Floki is continuously an interesting character to me. Oh God, I got a friggin' scratch in my, whoops. It's too much information. I have a scratch on my computer screen right where my face is, where the preview for the stream where my face is. So I'm like, what the fuck's on my face? The fuck? No, it's just the monitor. Lady Dreamfire we have in the live motherfucking chat. Oh gosh, I'm so excited to have you guys in the live chat. Sorry I have not been able to be out here at all this week. It's been a weird, crazy week. Things as well are, you know how we go, and sometimes life goes through transitional shit storms. I'm going through transitional shit storm at the moment, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna drink together. We're gonna skull and keep things smiley. Thank you, Mingy. Let's hit that Well, I don't want to say that. You guys can say that. We got Paul Q in the live chat. We got Santovia Major, who stepped on in here. We got Birdie. We got all the usual friends in the live motherfucking chat tonight. We also have some new friends popping on in here and there. And wherever you're popping in, or if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, please take time to like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening to the audio cast, give us a iTunes rating of some sort or a podcasting rating, wherever the hell you're listening to it, to help the podcast, to help spread it like a podcasting virus or a streaming virus. Now more than ever, when so many people are out there doing so many great things, it's more important than ever that you help spread the word of what we're doing to keep people coming in and keep people checking things out. So thank you so much to everyone that's been doing that so far. And if you're listening to the podcast, I can see you guys out there, you audio, or I can't see you. You can't see me, but I can see you. Think about coming and joining us live after the episode's aired and jumping in the live motherfucking chat. And you can do that by subscribing to the The Issues Guy YouTube channel. And you can watch live and join these motherfuckers in the live chat and share your thoughts. Oh, we also got K-Rich, we got Icy Fury, Laura Lee, so many good people in the live motherfucking chat. And I think I just say it just so I can say the words motherfucker in a very loving way. We have a voicemail from the wonderful Antoine Thomas that I cannot wait to play. We'll play that in the beginning section of the show. Antoine, I believe, has a very interesting question for me that we're going to have to do here. But I think, again, in this episode, Judith was kind of an MVP. I love how she's playing Alfred. I love the what? She's taken some cues from Crazy Pants a couple seasons ago, Quinn Firth. She has this interesting way about her now. The actress seems extremely established within this part and finding all those little beats. And she's been, in these last 3 episodes, she has stepped up to one of my MVPs. I don't know if I don't most valuable penis. We're the VIPs. Very immense penises. If anyone knows what that's from, 2 points. So I don't know what I was going with that. But no, Judith has grown to definitely be the MVP of this season for me, or one of them for acting performances in these final 3 episodes. The way she dealt with the Alfred situation, the way she curbed that was excellent. Next level manipulation. She stuck her finger right up in that bum hole and turned Alfred into her puppet there for a second. He was coming in hot. He was coming in hot at her, and she with like water dancer like speed just dodged everything. It was beautiful. Judith, the actress and the character, are killing it and owning it right now on screen. And I don't give a fuck. She wasn't, I didn't love her when she was first introduced. I felt like it took her a little while to understand her character. She went through many machinations of the versions of Judith. And basically through it all, instead of using it as ways to or things to ignore, it seems like each part that we've seen her on the show has led to this character, and it all makes sense that she's the way she is right now, with who she's been trained by, the task of which she's having to do here, protecting Alfred and pushing him as the son, pushing this storyline. Sorry, with the edge, I'm on a wrestling kick these days. So yeah, the Queen of Horns, mother-in-law of the year, Judith Lannister, Judith Baratheon. Judith is killing it. The live check, I like the Queen of Horns, and I like Judith Lannister. Judith Baratheon's good too, Bertie. Oh my god. Judith, lend me an ear, Darth Mother. Da, 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 da. I was trying to figure the proper hair pun. Hairpiece. You wear hairpiece. Judith also went through many men and took something from each one of them and learned something. And make sure because they won't learn nothing. Makes me think of I'll give the Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones when they could have killed Val Kilmer and Batman Forever. We can't kill him. He's not going to learn nothing. Oh my goodness. So I think Judith was really awesome in this episode, and I'm enjoying her performance. I find a lot of subtlety to it, a lot of interesting touches, the way she's manipulating her son in this moment. People are hinting to it in the live chat. It's something that Cersei would respect. Cersei and Marjorie are somewhere sitting watching this going, yeah, pretty good. Very good, Judith. Watching Littlefinger searching for aliens. Oh, Judith. Oh, that new show. Someone was telling me about that earlier. Is there a new show with Littlefinger looking for aliens? What's Bjorn's Harald's girl's name? Gernard? I can't remember, but I don't like her. See, it's weird, Bernie. I did not like her in some parts of this episode. I liked her in other parts of this episode. The mirror, mirror on the wall, who will be the queen with the biggest ball? I didn't like that part. I didn't like the wannabe queen part. I generally like her with Bjorn, and I like the vibe, and I like her on the battlefield, and I like her in a lot of situations. When she started to be, oh, of course, everyone wants to be the queen, and playing Harald, that was I don't know. There's something about that seemed false and seemed pushed, but yes, I'm not the hugest fan of pop-up characters like that. And Vikings tends to do that sometimes. They have pop-up characters. Gunchild, yeah. Gunhild. King has to be king. That's her name. Oh, Miss Lane, great to see you. Gunhild, thank you, everybody. Thank you in the live motherfucking chat. Yeah, and Project Blue Brook. I don't know why I want to say Blue Brook. I used to know a girl named Blue Brook. She dressed like Smurfs. But that's a different question altogether. But Project Blue Book. I like that. It makes me think of those little blue books from school. Okay, so Mid-Tier Magic says, I have a feeling she will be killed by Ivar. I could see something like that happening in battle. I don't trust her. I don't trust Gunhild. Harald is a male Glenn Close from Fatal Attraction. He kind of is. Or if I don't want to spoil anything, if anyone has seen the Netflix series called You that's just been out, I just binge watched the whole thing. Maybe I'll talk about it a little bit at the end of this podcast. But Harald's a little bit of that too. I'd rather be with Harald, says Miss. I mean, Harald is gonna kiss your ass. Harald is going to be more long game. Bjorn's going to get bored easier when it comes down to it, I think. Am I going to review True Detective Season 3? Absolutely. Especially Episode 1. I can guarantee that Joe and I will, or I'll try to get Joe on it, but at least I will be watching that. I do think I need to renew an HBO Go subscription or something, but there are other ways to watch it. Why am I air quoting? I'm going to ride the pirate waves. I mean, I don't encourage that behavior. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Laura Lee says different strokes. Yeah, everyone has different opinions. That's why everyone should be able to. I'm having like a way spreading this to a different kind of conversation. That's why everyone should be able to bang, because there's somebody that will find every person out there attractive. Well, unless you. I'm trying to think of a good example, but unless you're, you know what I mean. Generally speaking, let's see. Okay, so let's continue in this. So we get Ivar was also okay. I know some people. Oh, what am I, Joe Pesci? Without Joe here, I need someone to be Joe Pesci. Okay. So Miss says, okay, so topic of the night in Vikings Aftermath on Facebook is, what was Judith doing in that last scene? Would you like to discuss that part? In the final scene of the episode, we will get to that last scene at the end in the recap, but let me see. Then we get the slow motion walker. Where was the last scene of Judith? And we get slow motion running of the girl walking towards something at the end of the waterfall. Next week, no, that's when someone dies in there. Off to Alfred's wife with her boobs, and the queen's like, the queen's like, what's up? It doesn't matter. Oh, when the queen, when Athelred's girlfriend was feeling her boobs, and that scene. Oh, she was checking for lumps, or she was either checking for lumps or she was checking to see if she might be pregnant. To see if there was expanding of if the boobs seemed, I don't know. I'm so talking out my ass here. I'm like, maybe she was checking to see if she was pregnant. It looked like a breast exam. It did. K. Rich says she might be sick. Game of Thrones 5 seconds is not enough. I'm trying to remember the last scene. So I think that might be it. Yeah, she was self-checking. says Bernie. I appreciate the information going on in the live chat. Beams. we've gone to a boob discussion in the live chat. It's a health thing. Always check. Boys too. Anyone who's seen Oz know it can go in the other direction. She could be that too. She didn't cough blood into a handkerchief, so she's fine. That's what Bertie, yeah, exactly. Checking the boobs isn't television for sick, it's television for pregnant, isn't it? Because you're checking to see if, my boobs feel bigger right now, so maybe I'm pregnant. Miss, great stuff. Okay, so let's not waste any time here, and let's get into our good buddy Antoine's voicemail, because we have a voicemail here. And just to mention, we do have a voicemail, sometimes call-in line if I have the phone lines open, but always voicemail 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 781-990-8509. Again, that's 781-990-8509. And that goes for you guys listening to the audio cast as well. If you want to join in the discussion, feel free to leave a voicemail or leave a text at that number. You can also add me on Skype at I Got Issues Man if you're out of the USA and you don't want to pay international rates just to call my fucking show. So you can leave a video message there and I can play it as an audio message, or leave me a audio message over Skype. So we also got a text message, which put a picture of Big Chungus in the set, please. Much love. Nirvana Design, love you, buddy. Maybe I will. Okay, so Antoine Thomas, let's listen to Antoine's voicemail here. Let me get the microphone ready here. Let me also get a technical difficulty sign up so I can do a sandwich here. Whoa, no, another one, wrong one. Okay, there we do that. Okay, so let's listen to the one and only Antoine Thomas for a voicemail.
Hello, Phil, the Issues Guy. This is Antoine. It's been a while, been a long time. I can't wait for Game of Thrones, but tonight it's all about Viking, and I've seen the show and stuff. I like how the scenes and storylines and the true history surrounding the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons and stuff. And I want to give my props to King Alfred and Queen Mother Judith, which is, I had to do this joke on the phone and stuff, and this is very similar to the R. Kelly scandal, but what the hell, I'm taking a shot, and I hope I get popularity from this. But if Judith and the Saxons was to invite us to their homes, and everything's turned out fine until war breaks out with the Normans, and all of a sudden, Judith suddenly has one of those chains, very similar to R. Kelly, but would me and you do? Would we A, stay, or would you climb out the window and run? Well, as beautiful as Judith is, I'd rather stay. I mean, she's the closest to Miranda Otto's character from Lord of the Rings. But I thought I should share that joke to y'all. I mean, that one was priceless.
Antoine Thomas, great stuff as always. Phil, the feds William the Conqueror going to investigate Judith since she killed her son. I thought you find a tape of her peeing on someone in their Anglo-Saxon collection. Oh no, there's too much R. Kelly stuff going on. Okay, so great stuff by Antoine Thomas there. I think I would have to stay in the room too, Antoine. I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you on that one. Great to hear, as always, from the wonderful Antoine Thomas. And you know what? It's about time. Let's not waste any more freaking foreplay. Let's cut the foreplay. Let's get into it. We got a voicemail in. We got some silliness going on. We got our good friends in the live motherfucking chat. We have our future in future listeners. Let's get into the recap.
When I'm around you, what do I see?
my goodness, let's get into this thing. I was gonna get up, but I was gonna end up falling on my ass or something. Let's save that for a later date. Welcome back to the Phil's recap or review. It's time for the actual recap section here, and yeah. So let's get into this thing. I do want to thank you, Duchronic. I'm still tweaking it a little bit. I finally remembered to bring the wheel closer here, and I still need to hang a few more things and set a more stuff in other rooms down here. But I need a cowbell on the desk. I need a cowbell or a bell or something. I do have a cowbell in the house somewhere. How the fuck did I get a scratch right there? Sorry. Scratch is new on the screen, so I didn't notice it before. But there we go. I moved the wheel closer thanks to you. I heard you in my mind today when I was setting up. I was like Santovia wants me to move the wheel closer, so I did. I listened. Eventually, it takes me a while. I have a slow mind, but I catch up. So speaking of some catch up, we open up at the beginning of this episode with a dead apple wolf. I don't know what that reminds me of ketchup. Well, red apples and ketchup's red. It's a loose transitional statement, but hey, whatever. We try. We do need some more cowbell. I need some more cowbell. That's one of the things I need to get around here. I need to get more musical instruments. And I'm going to end up, as I said before, set up that other room with another camera so I can run into the other room and play instruments really quickly. I need a throwing axe for a wheel. That would be fun. And I could just go. I've been talking the Plinko wheel, but throwing axes might be more fun. Thank you. Much better wheel placement. Perfect. Good. Okay, and it also blocks the silly TV, which looked awkward there. So I think we're getting there. We're getting there. I just need to figure out a better place for the Star Trek stuff and put up the no farting sign somewhere, and then we're good. We're almost to home. We're almost to home. So we open up. It's great lighting. The shot, and Alfred's finally up. He's woken. He's shocked and sad, and he's like, "Who's being buried with such honor in this kind of situation?" And it turns out it is his brother. And Alfred turns to Judith and asks how he died, and she runs this line of bullshit about a sudden death and cries. He can't believe it. Mom keeps talking feces, and it's acted really well by everyone in play here. And hail and farewell to my son, and Judith gives kind of this evil look, like, I killed my son and I like it. Killed my son and I liked it. Brian's the one. He's the Neo here. Oh no, we don't have any Joe Dirty Locks. Get Joe Dirty Locks out of here. An axe would be a nice touch, or at least some ladder ball or something. But what would be hilarious about that is I'd go to throw something and it'd end up knocking everything in back there, and I'd knock into my shelves and knock everything over. So next up, and I said this earlier, and I think I've even undervalued this statement. This episode was a great deal about the Floki stuff. This was what I hope is probably the big conclusion episode. We may check in there in the next 3 episodes, but this is probably the most time all season where we're going to spend in Iceland. It was all leading up to this episode. So we're going to go to Floki Island a lot, and I still didn't care a lot, but I thought this was executed well in this episode. We have to play a big game of Clue here one night on the show. So next up on Floki Island, heading back in the rain, we hear cries as they finally find the ousted group back together, and the 2 main guys, I still don't know their names. People yelling at me. They've been on the screen for so long and I don't know their names. The Edge and the other guy, they hug it out, or the other guy hugs him and goes, "I've changed. I'm sorry. I love you." So then we go off to Kattegat for an Ivar announcement, and his people, he's got his whole team together. He says, and he gives this, what I think was a pretty good speech. It continues through 2 scenes, and he screams about how he needs, the gist of the whole speech that Ivar gives here is, I'm awesome. Everyone knows I'm awesome, but there's a small percentage of people that really fucking hate me. And Ragnar was cool and all, but his rules are quaint and stupid. Stupid things like no murder, and no rape and no fucking elections and all this sort of shit. It's sort of outdated. You know, why don't we get into a situation where everyone just loves me, kisses me, supports me, and I pick, and you tell me who doesn't support me, and then I viciously murder them. How's that sound? Does that sound great? In fact, why don't we make a law so we can like totally kill our brothers? Because, you know, hi Hitzak, how you doing, buddy? I mean, or our sons or our daughters or something, or our brothers. Hi, buddy. And Hitzak's like, oh, well, is he talking to me? Yeah, I think he's talking to you. I'm the only one sitting here. It's. I don't know. I liked Ivar in this episode. I like the delusional, almost a babe in the wind, but has a strategic mind. Ivar not being completely controlled by Freya's or whatever. But even that's becoming somewhat entertaining to me. When I don't like Ivar is when he's like, rah, rah, when he's screaming and shit. This speech seemed a little bit more tactical, and I can understand where he's coming from with this. He's playing whack-a-mole. He's an idiot, and he's a poor leader. And it's backfiring on him, and everyone is trying to overthrow him because he sucks. And he needs to stall time till he can get on the battlefield and win another battle and keep the support of his people. So he needs to kill the seer, so so the seer doesn't tell anybody he's not a god. He needs to change the laws so he can kill and murder anyone he wants. Kill and murder. Yeah, it's redundant. I don't care. Kill and murder anyone he wants, and turn everything into distract, make everything Kattegat a distraction right now. And yeah, it makes sense. And I love later in the episode when I'll talk about it later when we get to it. When he's like, I should just kill Hitzak. You know, why not? You know, about time. If I killed him, then no one would fuck with me. It's like it's like in those movies when the guy goes to prison and you find the biggest guy and you beat the shit out of him. And once you do it, no one's gonna fuck with you. So if I beat the shit out of Ivar, or if I kill my brother and kill the other son of Ragnar, no one will fuck with me, and everyone will know that shit's really on, and we'll get the mass hysteria that we want. Yippee. No. And she's like, I don't think that's the best thought. I mean, Hitzak's well liked. Do you want to be loved or do you want to be feared? And this was maybe my favorite Ivar moment of the series, especially at least since Ragnar's been on, when he gets this look where it doesn't compute, and I don't know. It's a good question, and I liked that. That was probably one of my favorite acting moments by him in the part of Ivar. There was some subtlety to it, and I think this was one of his best episodes. And I know I say that a lot, but I think he's getting better. And somewhere in my ears, I hear Joe Dirtylock screaming. Do I love everything about the way that Ivar has been depicted on this show? No. But when this kid hits it, he hits it. And Hitzak, when he Hitsucks this, he Hitsucks this. I know it's horrible. But sorry, I had 2 sips of a beer. I'm fucking drunk. I liked Ivar. And Alex, is that his name? Is that the actor's name? I thought he was really good in these last 2 episodes, showing that confusion. When they don't show him as an unstoppable force or a complete idiot, when they show him fish out of watery in human interaction moments, like when Hitzak starts quoting Buddhism to him and he looks at him like, you're fucking crazy, brother. Like, that stuff's cool. That stuff's way more effective to me than him just screaming. And I thought his speech worked in this episode too. Let's go to the live motherfucking chat. I feel like the last death in Iceland was the last bit of Floki's sanity. I absolutely agree with that. And I wonder if Floki makes it. And I keep saying this every season, but I wonder if Floki makes it into season 6. I mean, I guess he's tried to kill himself so many times, to have him die in some way would be anticlimactic. I think a lot of people would love to see Floki back to Kattegat somehow and back in with the main story in some fashion. But I don't know. It's gonna be very cool to see where they take Floki from this point. Ivar was awesome. Ivar, I am the Senate. Yeah, Ivar goes all Palpatine. He does. Misa Jaja Viking. Me give Supreme Chancellor special powers. Misa from the Viking community. Yes. Thank you, Jaja Binks. The Viking Council recognizes Sir Jaja Binks from Denmark. Misa Jaja Binks from Denmark. Give Ivar special powers. Sorry. But I generally liked Ivar in this episode, and I like his plays make a lot of sense. Bernie says, hot take, after watching Blue Book, I think the acting on Viking is better. Don't at me. Laura Lee, that's how you, and then Santovia says, that's how you know Ivar has lost it. He doesn't know if he wants to be loved or feared. Pick one, motherfucker. I thought Floki would intervene somehow. I think he tried in that last minute. He at least gave her the look, the long distance look where you can see someone's facial expressions from a far distance, and tried to stop her and yelled to her, but I don't know. And I mean, he tried to step in as well, at least tried to save that one guy, and they just weren't hearing him. I think at a certain point in time, he probably just felt frozen. I mean, this Floki can't deal with that level of violence. He's like, whoa, yeah, Floki's immortal. He can't go anywhere. Callie in the live motherfucking chat. In the tent, he did have the knife to the neck. I was gonna say back to the head, Joe Dirty Log style. So let's continue here, and we got a text message from area code. What is that? 215. Excuse me. I also like Ivar in this episode. He is growing on me. Still don't love him, but he is growing on me. Okay, so he's like a fungus. Ivar is growing on your fungus. So, yeah, he's in shock. He was frozen by the brutality of that situation. He was blindsided, and before he knew it, they did an excellent job keeping that. I keep wanting to do the Floki Island Survivor references to keep that vote out of Floki's hands, because Floki never would have voted these people off the island. I mean, he just wanted them out of. He didn't want them gone full time. Okay, enough Survivor references. Now comparisons. So we go off to Judith, and she's kicking out Athelwulf's wife. She's like, yeah, could you kindly get the fuck out? Could you please, just please get the fuck out? I love Judith. I love in this situation, she has zero patience for this woman, and zero patience for her dead son, and that anyone's really grieving for it. She just wants to tell everyone and scream, he was a fucking traitor. You're a traitor too. I want to kill you too. You better not stick around, or I'm gonna kill you too. Yeah, Hitsuck is a Buddha guy. He's chilling. All these young girls I feel like I'm watching the Disney Channel or the R. Kelly Studio. Sorry. No, that's okay. It's the second R. Kelly Studio thing that we've had. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. I hear lots of people referencing it. But Antoine mentioned that earlier. Yes, they did have a blade to the neck. Callie, I love you guys. It's okay. Even if you typed it correctly, I'd probably pronounce it wrong or read it incorrectly and project my own Freudian illusions of what someone's trying to say as I read the three words, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep going. If she's dying, she might be cleaning house before she goes. Maybe. Oh, wait. I'm wondering why I'm not seeing. I have two chat windows open, and I'm wondering why I'm not seeing all the messages in both windows. It's because they have that stupid top chat thing. Okay, I get it. Top chat. But if I switch it to sorry, and people don't want to hear me bitch about YouTube stuff. And this is just even when I'm watching. This isn't about being a producer. This is about watching. When I open the chat, I want it always on live chat. Can I set an option? Can I preset an option so when the chat automatically opens, it doesn't open on that fucking top chat bullshit, and it actually opens on the live chat? That is all. Okay. Yeah, you're magical like that. I am. I have a talent. I have a talent, Bernie. Judith is terrible. I hope she doesn't set up the Northmen. Judith is next. Judith better hope Alfred doesn't act like a king she wants, or her ass is going to be dead. And I think that might be Judith's fate by the end of the season. I think Alfred is going to ultimately decide that she's too dangerous, because I absolutely don't think I think it's obvious, and we're going to get to that in a little bit, that he's horrified with what she did for numerous reasons. And that's just not going to go away. Either he's going to ostracize her out of his life, or worse. Yeah, and again, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about the shit, but you guys, anyone watching this live, anyone listening to the audio cast of this is like, could you cut this part out? And no, I don't cut shit out. I want you guys to hear everything too. Like, don't talk about this shit. We don't care. But yeah, no one wants that top chat shit. Yeah, lock her in the tower already. Mid-tier Magic says, really, I feel like she's going to die on her own accord. Perhaps, nothing's going to happen to Alfred. Perhaps if Alfred ostracizes her to a certain extent, she's going to feel like she has nothing worth living for, and then end herself to stop any burden she is on Alfred. If she feels like she's causing more harm to Alfred being Alfred, she'll destroy the situation. The situation meaning herself. So glad you're here, Callie. Someone else to back me up with supreme dislike of Judith. I love it. This is what's awesome about doing this show. So much diversity of opinions on characters and people like and dislike. And I think television shows, this is one of those soapbox moments of why I love movies, but I love TV just a little bit more. I feel like you get even more ownership of characters on television, and you get more vitriol, whether it be positive hate or positive hate. And when I say positive hate, I mean I think disliking television characters and talking shit and going through all that stuff, I think that's awesome. You're not talking about real fucking people here. Not real people, fucking characters, marionettes, television bullshit. And when you get to know someone, or you can feel like a character or an actor does a good enough job with a character to make you elicit any kind of dislike towards them, that's just as good as loving a character or listening that. Yes, when an actor, for me, gives when I don't care, that's the worst. You may like it, you may hate it, but don't think it's all right. And I think that should be a goal of any artist. Callie, fucking Callie, a $25 super chat donation, huge thank you. Fuck yeah, I gotta play some music. Let's play some fucking music for Callie for the super chat donation. Fuck yeah. Woo! Fuck yeah, spin the wheel. 2 spins for Callie. Let's do this shit, yes. Thank you, motherfucker, for a motherfucking chat. Super chat for that, and us not even fast. Thank you so much for that super chat donation. Trumpet or ocarina fun? I don't have an ocarina. Why did I have things on the fucking wheel if I don't have things around here to do them? I'm giving you 2 more spins of the wheel, and hopefully it doesn't land on trumpet or ocarina. I need to always have my ocarina on cue. Callie, you win a review commentary of your choice. Email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com. Episode of a television show you want me to watch and do a review on. Certain movie, certain silliness. You know how it works. Email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com. Review a commentary of your choice. Spin it one more motherfucking time. Here we go. One more time. One more spin of the wheel. It landed on, some drum fun. That I can do. I'll be very quiet, but I will do some drum fun. So let me continue here, and then I'll go over and get the drums in a second here, and I'll also give you a drink. Judith is not a normal person. Even when nothing happens in the show, we still find stuff to talk about. Santovia Major says, ostracize her? I want to kill her. For some reason, I was reminded of the Pee-wee's Big Adventure episode. The Pee-wee's Big Adventure episode. The Pee-wee's Big Adventure movie. I think we should let her go. No. No. Mm-mm. But Callie, think about it. Topic, whatever. Certain show, certain silly discussion. You free reign. Make me review something. King McKay in the live motherfucking chat. The wheel is useless. No, it's not. It's not. She wants something. The motherfucking wheel. Nadu. King told her he had forgiven his brother. He wasn't going to do anything to him, and Judith shouldn't have done anything. Judith is poorly written characters. Callie. Poor motives. Sleeps with everyone while claiming to be holy. Oop. That's my dream wheel landing. I picked something terrible for Phil to watch. Maybe Bernie can convince Callie to what do you want to make me watch, like Gossip Girl season 3 episode 6? Now that's awesome. Great to see King McKay in the live motherfucking chat as we go back to the next scene with after Judith, as I tried to say. I got too excited there. I'm like, ha. After Judith invites Athelred's wife to get the fuck out. Excuse me, could you get the fuck out of my house? Lagatha is poorly written in half these situations. We see Lagatha next week in next week's preview. Spoiler, I guess. We go back to Ivar, who continues into his amazing speech about how all murder should be legal. And, do you want me to protect you? Let's kill everybody. Let's kill our brothers. Yeah, Hitzak. You hear what I said? Kill our brothers. You hear that, buddy? So then here we go into the scene where Judith and Alfred talk about how what she did in this situation. And I thought this was played extremely well on both parts. Usually I didn't know how this tantrum would go, or I didn't know it was coming, but that him throwing a tantrum, tipping over the desk, having a crazy moment like that. And I know I'm so far up Alfred's acting ass this season or as a character, and I'm really smelling the farts of this kid, but I'll call him out when he does stuff I don't like. I thought that worked too. I thought he pulled that off. It was believable. It was emotional. It was strong. And he wanted to destroy his mother in that moment because she fucked up. And she made a mistake here and went explicitly against his wishes. And someone said this earlier in the chat. Sorry, I'm not giving you credit for it. She better be careful when she yells at him to be a king. Because if he's really a king, I don't know if they call it, whatever they call it, she went against the crown. She knew what the king's wishes were, and she made a distinct, conscious decision, even the way she rationalizes it to him. She doesn't say, it was an emotional moment. He said something that pissed me off, and I acted in the moment. I don't know why I made her sound like William Shatner there. I don't know. Why did you make her sound like Shatner? For the rest of tonight, Judith will be Shatner. Listen, I don't know why. But no, she rationalizes it out. She spells it out. She goes, yeah, he told me he never hurt you again. And he probably meant it, but forever he'd be tempted. And then and she explains how she clearly thought out that the king's decree wasn't good enough for her. And she's above the law. She's above the law. And she needs to act on her own accord. Crazy shit. Again, I feel like I want to separate this. Ballsy move by the character. Excellently played by the actress. Fully acceptable of Santovia Major's hate. Because it's a fucked up manipulation move. She ends up spinning her words with Egbert-like speed and efficiency and accuracy. The way with using elements of guilt learned from Athelstan. I mean, this was great. This was greatly played, but it's going to backfire on her by the end of this season. Someone else said this in the chat. I'm just stealing and piggybacking on it. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point of this podcast, is stealing other people's stuff and piggybacking on it. I mean, I watch shows and I talk about them. It's not like I'm making shit up myself. But so now I'm piggybacking off the live fucking chat. Motherfucking chat. But yes, the Bobby Boucher. The Roosters are gonna chuckle Bobby Boucher. What she tell Bob? What's the Kathy Bates say? It's gonna happen to Bobby Boucher. Well, shit's gonna come to a head for Judith. I'm not gonna go on an Elmer Fudd moment here. Wow, what I was trying to say. The Roosters are coming, Bobby Boucher. Oh my goodness. Let's go. Let's continue back in the live motherfucking chat. Alfred, you're chosen because your grandpa told me why I was banging him. Alfred has been the best actor this season. I agree. Laura Lee, me too. I've loved him. Go home before I go off. Yeah. Freda is a talent. Doesn't choose scenery like everybody else. I wasn't sure who you were talking about at first. I tend to agree. She's growing on me, especially as an actress and as a performance. I thought she worked really well in this season, influencing Ivar in a way that was positive for him. And positive for them. It's selfish, it's self-fulfilling, but it makes sense. It's, again, believable and subtle. It's not over the top. And she's not pontificating into a mirror about her evil plan or her desires. Monologuing outside. She's actually showing it to you. Judith told him that his brother wanted to kill him, so Alfred took a bite, bro. She freed him. That's my opinion. I mean, it could be looked at in that direction too, Brian. I'm not saying you're wrong. I asked that question again this week. I asked it last week. I'll ask it again. Did Judith make the right decision killing Athelred? Throw it in the live chat, in the comment section. I really should make a survey for shit like this. And I know there is a way to do it in the chat. I need to figure that crap out. But who cares? We can do a straw poll here. Generally speaking, who thinks Judith did the right thing killing him? And if you're listening to this later, throw it in the comment section of whatever video you're watching. Was it a mistake when Neri killed Fredo? Dark, I'm so glad you mentioned Fredo. Fredo is a different story. Okay? I don't think it was bad that Nero what is this, Sons of Anarchy? That Michael. Well, let's give it to who it was. Let's give that kill to who it was. It's Michael's kill. Did Michael make a mistake killing Fredo? Oh God, someone make me do a Godfather review or Godfather series review. I think the difference is, I think there's different reasons why Michael made a mistake doing it than Judith made a mistake. I don't think Fredo ever would have gone against the family ever again. Or would have even been tempted to go against the family again. I think he got burned on that. Excuse me. That being said, Michael needed to do what he needed to do at a certain point in time. But with the Athelred situation, he never really went through with it. Some could say that he was a man on the inside. Judith got a read off of him that he was too liked by the people, and I think that was the deciding factor, that the people would always go to him over his brother. And I think that's a different story than going behind his back. I think Judith made a unilateral decision based on information that she kind of not manipulated in her own mind. She made a right assumption, but I think she manipulated her own mind. I'll say it that way. She delusionalized herself and caused herself a delusion. She tripped herself out. She went doing and saw stars or birds flying around her head. Why does it always have to be stars and birds? Fredo, you disappoint me. You were the one. I know it was you, Fredo. What's up, Jay? He was shit too. Yeah, but Ross people approached Athelred and said that there'd be something in it for me, Michael. For me, Michael. Me. My own stuff, Michael. I was your older brother and I was skipped over. Sorry. Don't get me started. I See Fury. Request that in the Patreon group. I See Fury. We want to do a Patreon only Godfather review. Make me do it. I See. Make me do it. Say dance, Rummy, I pay you. Judith definitely did the right thing, says Mingy. I think most people tend to be on, well, I'm on Mingy's side, so that's where I want to be. So anyways, I'm smart. I'm smart. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid like everyone says. I'm smart. Look at me. I can do my own thing. You're fucking moron. Drop your gun. You drop your gun when the Godfather's getting shot. You fucking, I'm spoiling the Godfather. If you haven't seen it by not yet, you're never seeing it. I don't give a fuck. Fucking idiot. And then he blows his own fucking cover. Oh, old man Raw. Fucking. Whatever, dude. Who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Okay. So let's continue here with this silliness with some more Vikings discussions. He was my brother, and I was stepped over. Okay, wait. Jay has something to add to this conversation, I think.
Yes, it was a mistake for Micah to kill Fredo.
Oh, yes.
It made the man go insane. It literally made his business vulnerable after that. It was a complete mistake for Micah to kill Fredo. It was a family business. It was the one decision he regretted for the rest of his life, and it's the main reason and the catalyst that we had Godfather 3. Yes, in every single way, it was a mistake for Michael to kill Fredo.
Jay laying it down there with the Godfather knowledge. I think we do need to have a Godfather stream at some point. But just to add that, if only if you consider Godfather 3 canon, and no, I do. Okay, I do. Unfortunately, as bad as Sofia Coppola's acting is, and as big of a mess as that movie can be at sometimes, it is canon. So whatever. Okay, so let's continue here before everything gets off the rails too much here. So sorry for that Godfather aside here, but it's part of the issues program. I got issues and I can't help ranting. So Judith and Alfred talk. She says he was a traitor. I need to do it. Just a very naturally acted scene between the two of them. Alfred has this fuck me. What like how do I deal with this situation here? And she says, I poisoned him. I killed one son to save the other. God forgive me. And Alfred's heads down. He kicks over the desk. He throws a little tantrum, beats the shit out of his stuff. And Judith says, now, can we talk now? You think we can actually have a conversation now? And you're behaving like a regular person. And you can't behave like a regular person. You have to behave like a king. And stop being ordinary. And she turns it around and makes it about him. What an excellent manipulation tactic here. Manipulation tactic 101, everybody. Somebody changes the subject. You fucking... Oh, please don't spill my water, please. Oh, good. I didn't spill it. Fuck yeah. Never spill the water. It's the golden child. Or you can't get the knife of Ashante and kill Tywin Lannister. Remember that, kids. You learn nothing from my podcast. Remember that. Don't spill the water. You can't get the knife of Ashante and save the golden child. And kill Tywin Lannister. But yes. So yes, a manipulation tactic when you're arguing about something and you're calling someone out on their bullshit, and somehow this conversation turns around and it's about something you did to them. They're like, no, but actually you did this to me, or you're being this way. Stop being so minimal with your arguments. Shit like that. I hate toxic mother tropes. It takes a shitty person to manipulate anyone, but an even wittier one to manipulate your own children. No, he knew that he screwed up. He didn't like that his wife said what she said. He was keeping the nobles calm when she found out Alfred was sick. Centovio, but then he punked his mom. He basically said, when I'm ready to be king, I got the will of the people. Oh, good discussion happening on the live motherfucking chat right now about the Athelred situation. A farmer had a sick chicken, a healthy chicken, so he kills the healthy chicken to make soup for the sick chicken. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Or in this case, the one. Yeah. So let me do one quick second while I grab something. Wait, what are you gonna grab, Phil? Hey, well, depends what kind of music I play. Okay, I owe Callie some drum fun. This is I'm gonna have to be very quiet because I honestly don't know how the drums are going to expand through the house right now. It's the first time I've tried to play drums late night, so let's see. And I promise to give you a much, much louder, faster, sillier drum solo during whatever review you request. I'm like looking around like, this is very loud, isn't it? It's very loud. Sorry for the minimal, silly drum fun. But still, thank you so much for the super chat donation. And yes, Bernie C, I honored the wheel. The wheel's not useless. 2 wheels, I did it. Right, he basically told his mom to grab his coat and pass him the smoke. So let's continue down here in this live motherfucking chat here. So why did he tell his mother to make some porridge? Why didn't he tell his mother to make some porridge and mind her fucking business? So we go off to Kattegat in the Ivar shrine, and all the folks are just all huddling around, and then we go to Hitzak, who's attempting meditation. Now, we go over to Ivar and his girl that start talking shit about Hitzak. And, well, this just reminded me of every couple ever where the bedroom talk. Where you know what? Fuck my brother and his fucking wife. They're fucking annoying. They're fucking assholes. You know? He doesn't like me. Did you see him during the speech? Did you see him when I was trying to do my fucking presentation or when my band was playing? My brother just look at his face like, good set, dude. Like, fuck you. Make me porridge. Ivar gets ripped on Reddit. Ivar's getting ripped everywhere. Oh, yummy. Sorry, I have to keep drinking, keep pushing it. So this is my drink night. So we go off to Ivar and his girl talking shit about Hitzak, and you see he's got another girl. Yeah, who the fuck's that? Yeah, whatever the fuck. And you know what? And we talked about this earlier, and this is where he goes, you know what I should do? I should just kill him. You know, if I kill him, if I punch the biggest guy, everyone's going to respect me. No one will fuck with me. No one will dare mess with me because I'm Ivar the God. And I'm going to kill my brother. I'm going to kill my brother. I'm going to kill my brother. I'm going to kill my brother now. My name is Ivar, you may mess with another. I'm gonna bend it down and kill my fucking brother. Stab a fucking knife in his deep down heart. And then I'm gonna spread my cheeks and give him a fart in his face. Cause I'm Ivar the goddess bitch. I'm gonna suck his motherfucking Hitzak bitch. I'm gonna smell it down. I'm gonna kill his girl. Then I'm gonna send him off to far out lands cause he's in the world. Okay, so then he's like, the hell with him. Sorry, I'm getting silly, I'm drunk. But so he sends him off to, or he decides that, or he eventually decides to send his brother off to Wessex to prepare people for his arrival. And this is where she says to him, do you want to be loved or do you want to be hated or feared? And he thinks about it. And I mentioned this earlier. I thought this was one of the best Ivar moments of the season. I think he just sort of relaxed and went, and gave a real acting moment, a reaction to the question she was asking. And with a silly acting game, if anyone's ever been in an acting class, you go, Yes. No. Yes. No. Or back and forth. Or yes. 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 If anyone's ever seen The Sopranos, Christopher Moltisanti plays that game and he beats the shit out of somebody. It was intention. You know it. And Ivar plays good vocal tennis in this scene with her. Oh yeah, guys. Sorry about the Ivar. My Ivar rap there. Boneless is my god, says Brian. Tovia. Ivar the Throneless. Dark Sea. It's good to see Dark Sea in the live motherfucking chat. Please don't rewind this podcast to whatever timestamp we're at right now, or someone leave a comment on this video of that timestamp right now, because you can, I believe, even in the chat, if you can actually leave a comment now too. So please, somebody timestamp that for me later in the comment section. I want to try to put a compilation at the end of the year. Anyways, okay, so enough of that shit. So I lost music and my freestyle died, so all I did was want to cry. Okay, you're a poet. You just don't know it. Okay, so Ivar and his girl start talking shit, and he gives this honest reaction. I'll say it one last time. One of my favorite, maybe my favorite Ivar scene since he isn't in the scene, since he hasn't been in the scene with Floki or Ragnar. So I think he has decent chemistry with this actress, and I thought she was really good sneaky good in this scene, where she's not as noticeable or someone you would point out, but she's also not screwing anything up and not seeming like in too much of an over the top character that she could being in a position like this. So I'm gonna kick your dog. 59 minutes timestamp. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Let me write that shit down somewhere. Let's go. Let me go. What the fuck? Fuck my motherfucker. Fuck my motherfucker. What are you doing? Sorry. Give it. I can't multitask, can I? Yeah, Hitzak does have a new woman at all, and they're in love. They're going to be married. They're going to be married. So we go off to Floki sitting alone, and Floki's trying to smile, looking at the amazing view. Can't get said enough. Holy hogwash Batman. The views on this show are unbelievably amazing. He comes to the group and says, we need to leave, and people are like, we're all ready, and it's kind of a weird transition to the scene, and I got to admit to not taking the best notes in this section. So he decides to... So let me just paraphrase the situation. So they start to pack up and start to head back to main camp, but instead the Edge and all their group of the other people decide to flip the switch, go all long shanks on their asses, close the doors, and hack them to fucking shit here. And yeah. And the Edge is sparkling blood and glowing and looking all wrestling heel in this scene. I mentioned that before, that he totally turned heel in this moment and he gave us the wrestling eyes. This is the most you seemed all wrestling in a long time. Ivar's wife had some good time tonight. Yes, she did, Brian. He got his chick last week, young love. You're gonna die, motherfucker! You're gonna die! I think Hitzak's girlfriend is gonna be dead when he gets back. Ivar sent him a message that he's a god. He is a god. Over the edge. So then we get another really awesome scene. I'm sorry, Ivar haters. Ivar comes in to talk to Hitzak and his girlfriend in bed. And it's just so slimy, so evil, so mustache twirly, scenery eaty in the greatest possible way. He just comes in, he's like, oh, great house. I'm making myself welcome. And you should probably, you should go away. Hitzak, you should go check on my armies and get York prepared for my arrival and blah 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 blah. He's doing it so nice, and Hitzak's like, well, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave here. And then he turns to the girl. He's like, oh, you guys are together. Really happy. You seem like a very awesome couple. You very happy? Yeah, that's good. You seem nice. And she's having this sensible conversation. I'm surprised he hasn't introduced me before. I'm his brother. I love him. I love my brother. I love my brother. He's very nice. My brother's nice. I love him. Yeah, he's nice. It's a horrible Ivar tonight. Sorry, I can't do it tonight. And then he just subtly, and this is what's great about Ivar. Fuck the haters. This is what's great about Ivar. He subtly, in his tone, just shifts it and goes, so, Hitzak, you really should think about going on this trip, because I'd really hate to burn your girlfriend alive and drag her through the streets and murder her. And, it would be a shame if I had to destroy your girlfriend like that. And Hitzak draws a knife on him and holds a knife to him. And Ivar just looks at him and just smiles and laughs. And he goes, it's so funny. You're going to stab me. It's great. Hitzak eventually puts down the blade and he's not going to kill his girl and blah, blah, blah. Hitzak agrees to go off. Fun stuff. Great. Excellently portrayed. Ragnar's mistake was not killing Ivar, says Duchronic. He is King Ivar. No, he's God Ivar. Ivar rolled up on Hitzak when they were sleeping and was like, hey, what's up, brother? What's your name? I love how they showed the snake patterns in the sand. Oh, I didn't even notice that, Mingy. Great pickup. I don't know why I said the word, expression pickup in that sort of, split it into several syllables there. I split pickup into 27,000 syllables there. Ivar will be the end of the Sons of Ragnar. He'll definitely cause them a much different legacy. And again, I'm not going by history, the real history. I'm going by this show universe. Ivar is changing that at the core right now with what he's doing. He is. No, I didn't mean to play that again. No, Ivar's not a whore. No, don't do it. Not one more time. No. Sorry. No more vocalizations. So he says, make yourself useful and go to York. Tell them I'm coming. Oh yeah, I already talked about all this. And they love each other. So then the last two dudes are alive watching the bodies pile up and they're just meat. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, after the Edge went to go kill all those guys, they kept like two of them alive. One guy who's always been loyal and a good dude, and then the main guy so he could watch his family die. So then they go inside. The guy's like, Floki, what happened? Do you think I can get them to forgive me? And they're like, no, this guy wants revenge and spare the kid. Can we spare that kid? And the Edge says, we'll consider sparing him in the morning if he survives the night. He eats this leg and looks all psycho. And Floki knows that he's not going to be spared. The next morning, the Edge starts singing really badly. And death is on its way. And okay, if you need to know how this song is going to be saying good, it's like the next scene where we're in the Bjorn scene when they sing the same song well, but it's scary as shit. This dude is singing horribly to you as he's going to murder you. And whatever, they drag out the dudes and the axes come out and they cut his head off. And then we cut to all the heads on spikes as Floki... Oh, someone is begging for his life and crying, and Floki's like, sorry, dude, you're dead too. So then we come to the Edge, and every person must have their day and do and die. As he has death eyes. And then we heads on the spike with Katie Crow dancing with them. He was kind of tone deaf. It was great. It was a great scene, done well. Nitpicky that the actor can't hold a tune. And I know he's gonna like destroy me. Like, I'm scared of this guy now. I'm never gonna see him, but if I ever see him, he's going, what do you talk? I heard you said I couldn't sing. You can't sing either. I know I can't sing. I accept that. I sing for a band and I can't sing. But yeah, this was bad. But I'm kidding. It wasn't that bad. So it was only bad because we went off to Bjorn and then all the other Vikings sang it so good. And we heard like the unison or the harmonies or we heard all the Vikings yo-hoing this shit, and it sounded good together. So they're excited, singing the same song. The crazy Viking that Bjorn was watching training, ends up being Bjorn's girl, and she wins, and she's a badass. And Bjorn's watching, and Finehair's watching too, and he's giving that like laughing love. You know, when you watch someone you care about do something great, Finehair's like, "Oh, she's so awesome." He's doing like a half Kevin McAllister. He's like, "Oh, she's so awesome." His singing was to die for. Since I see, wait, sorry, I have to take that back here, buddy. As I See Fury says, his singing was to die for. I said to die for. Sorry. There's nothing I like more than a bad joke with a dunt. It makes all the fucking difference, everybody. But we go off to Bjorn. He's getting all the men excited singing the same song. Eventually, Bjorn comes up on Harald, and they have this talk about how Bjorn's impatient and he wants to fight, and they need a plan. And Finehair's like, "What about storms?" And Bjorn goes, "I don't need storms. You know, Ivar thinks he's a god. I talked to Ragnar in my sleep." Yeah. What do you know? Ragnar came to me in my sleep. He said we'd be fine. And Finehair, and I love how Finehair deals with all of this. Harald's just hilarious to him. He's like, "Your father, Ragnar," because Bjorn doesn't even say Ragnar at first. He just says, "My father talked to me in a dream." And the condescension in the voice of Harald when he goes, "Your father, Ragnar, he came to you in a dream. Tell me more about this." It's the same voice my therapist gives me every time I tell her about my problems. "Okay, really? Totally, Phil." This guy, he's like, he's like 70 years old. He's just like, "Yeah, sure, Phil. Whatever you say." It's great. That was great. Here we go. That's right, motherfucker. So Ragnar spoke to me in a dream. That's like his go-to. That's everyone's go-to. Yeah, Ragnar spoke to me in a dream. Yeah, me too. Ragnar spoken to me in a dream too. He says I should have 1 million subscribers on YouTube and 10,000 podcast subscribers. That's what he said. He said that Ragnar talked to me. He said that should be it. Ragnar says I shouldn't be out. I don't have to find a real job. I should just podcast, right? Right, Ragnar? I don't have to find a new real job, right? Ragnar spoke to me in a dream, guys. I don't have to work. So yeah, Bjorn's talking to Ragnar. So whatever. Everyone spoke to me in a fucking dream. Actually, Rollo talked to him in a dream. That's right. Rollo talked to him in a dream. So we go back to Alfred land, and he's warned of the Viking force, and Ubba is called in to say that there's 300 Vikings ships coming in. The Danes are coming in. Here comes the Dane. He said, "My father." Yeah, so it could be Rollo. Maybe he's Bjorn. Maybe he's Bjorn with it. Maybe it's Ragnar. Maybe it's a Ragnar dream. Ragnar talked to him. And Finehair is also like, "Well, Ragnar chose Ivar." He's like, "No, not in my dream." Maybe in reality that he chose Ivar, but in my dream, he chose me. And you can go fuck yourself. Fuck yourself. I'm the Walking David. Go fuck yourself. It wasn't intentionally a Walking David photo. I mean, I thought I was pushing. Oh, not just another dumpster. Oh no, sorry. Stop it. There you go. That's what I was trying to do. Since when did Ragnar start talking to these boys? I call bullshit. Yeah, Travis has better things to do. I hope. What's someone I'm a douchebag.com Travis. What's Travis doing? I had a dream. Crazy dream. So then Ubba comes in, and Ubba's like, "Make me the leader of your army." Because Alfred's like, "I'll go there and talk." And Torvi gets a line tonight, which is always great when they give Torvi stuff. It says, "Actually, you might want to believe me. Torvi, I wouldn't want to play poker with Torvi." And Uba gets control of the army that we're going to see pay out in the... Yes, I'm going to talk about previews for next week, so if you don't want to hear that shit, push pause for 30 seconds. Leading into what seems to be Uba asking the Danish commander for a trial one-on-one combat to settle the skirmish, which looks like it could be decent. Uba the scene chewer, says Cali Cali. Vikings is like SOA without Clay. I miss Travis's Duke Chronic. He was the best. I had a Travis dream. Whoa, hey now. So we go to Bjorn's girl, who I know you guys just told me her name a second ago. I've already forgotten it. And I'm sorry, actress, whose name I've forgotten. And Bjorn's girl and Harald's, who... This was my least favorite scene of the episode. I'll be straight out about it. I didn't like it. Not because it has the two of them connecting in any way, shape, or form, or I just didn't dig the vibe of it, or I thought from what we've been told about her character so far, this seemed out of character for her. Holy shit, Easy Mac giving us a super chat donation. Easy Mac, you are the fucking amazing. That means so fucking much to me. Super chat donation from Easy Mac. Your podcast and streams get me through tough times. Love you, Phil, and Joe too, even though he's never here. I forgive him, though. He will be here for shows coming up very soon. He'll be here for Punisher and for True Detective in this month, and also hopefully some Game of Thrones streams as well. So love you, buddy. Hearing that means so much to me and keeps me going. Also, super chat donations keep me going. Keep me eating. Spin of the wheel for you. Landed on Joe Drink. So since Joe isn't here, I will drink for Joe. And let me put the camera back on here so you know I'm really drinking. What's that? Oh my goodness! Holy golly! Zippity doo dah, zippity you. Damn you, Joe. He's probably somewhere watching Birdman. No, Joe is retired, as we mentioned, from Vikings. Perhaps we can get him to come back next season, since we'll talk about this at the end here. But the announcement, teaser, if you haven't heard the announcement yet, we'll talk about it at the end of the broadcast. Stay tuned to the end of the broadcast for a very special announcement. And why is there suddenly smoke everywhere? What the hell's going on? Is this an episode of That 70s Show? Shit, dude. Turn off the camera. There we go. Gunhild and Harald Bjorn, Gunhild, and Harald is a classic soap opera. And I thought it was especially soap opera-y in this scene because she's staring mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the latest Viking princess of all, who's got abilities like Brienne and aspirations like Cersei. You better watch out on the dance floor like in Kersey. You know, I don't know. There was just something weird about this scene for me. And then Harald coming in and being or after, because the last scene with Bjorn agrees that if they're going to attack, Harald gets the same deal that Ivar had with him, that if either of them die, Harald is the next in command. So, true love. True love. True love. He said to Blave. No, he said true love. I'm not a witch. I'm your wife. Okay, so we go off to speaking of the wife. Oh no, this is we go to Athelred's wife feeling her boobs, and the queen's like, "Oh, what's up? It doesn't matter." Oh, so was it Judith at this point that was feeling her boobs? I thought it was Athelred's wife feeling her boobs. Okay, am I incorrect here? Who was feeling her boobs at this point at the end? Was this Athelred's wife, and the queen went up to her and said, I know it was the queen that went up to this person and said, "Are you okay?" Or was this Judith? I missed it. Yeah, Billy Crystal compared to what is this this is the last scene of Mr. Saturday Night there up in the corner. Everything else was from The Princess Bride, and then the up in the corner is the an outtake from Mr. Saturday Night. It was Judith, I thought. Okay, it was Judith. I was incorrect. This is one of those situations where I look down, and I appreciate the live chat to correct me, because if I was doing this podcast as a recorded podcast, I would be fucking and only watch the episode once. I'd be butt fucking. Wait. I'd be referring to this as Athelred's wife. if it was the wife, she's preggers. See, that's why I thought it was Athelred's wife. And I will obviously do a rewatch and check out King McKay's video, which will be a more detailed breakdown when he does it later in the week, and figure out who that was. So we'll keep an eye out on that and talk about that more next week. Most people say it was Judith. Okay, so it was Judith. Most of the people in the live chat says it was Judith. So Mingy says, so what's Gunhild's deal? Does she want Bjorn or Harald? I think what we've learned from her in this scene, it's interesting because I think there's a lot of things. I think really what we've learned about her more than anything is she wants this.
You'll get your golden goose as soon as we get home.
No, I want one of those.
Bonker, how much do you want for the golden goose?
They're not for sale.
Name your price.
Oh, I gotta change this audio clip because I ruined it. To shorten that to I want the world, I want the whole world. I think that's all I wanted to say. I see all that just to get the line I want the world, I want the whole world. And Duke Chronic tells me that's inconceivable. And I think you did. I think that deserves me taking a drink. Very frosty beer. Okay, so we go back to Iceland, and the girl is welcoming back her dad and the crew, and she's happy. But the tone changes as everyone walks past her, and she sees Floki limping along because he's like 9,000 years old. So she asks him what happened, and he just shakes and says they killed them all, killed everyone. So well played by Gustav. What's his name again? Someone put it in the live chat. I don't want to destroy his name. I'm looking at Gustavo Fring over here, and I'm going to call him that. But greatly, excellently played by Gustavo Fring in this scene right here. Whatever. I'm such an asshole. Okay, so, but it really was, and I keep saying it. Floki is the best fucking actor on the show, and Lagatha is rocking those Targaryen wigs. We see Lagatha in the preview for next week that I'll briefly mention here in a second as we're basically in the home stretch of this episode. And so Floki tried to talk to them out of what was going on, and he had to just sit there and watch. Floki says, I'm sorry I brought you all here and you didn't even see the gods. So we go to Hitzak and his girl saying goodbye, and probably for the last time because Ivar's going to fuck with this girl. So we go off to Bjorn and Gunhild, and she feeds him some meat. Bjorn says, I'm in love with you. He's all doe-eyed. He says, I've never really been in love, but my heart's aching, and him and a hoobity, hibbity, hobbity, and there's like romantic music playing, and there's like romantic songs playing in the background. Everyone's loving it. Jay, that was from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or is it Willy? No, it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I'm going by the book. The original, the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So Bjorn goes, I love you, but I don't know what love is. I never really loved anybody before, but my heart is bleeding for you. It's bleeding. I'm frightened. Do you love me? And she says, you're very, very famous. Of course I love you. Like, I'd be an idiot not to love a famous person. Duh. And he says, well, does that mean you love me? And she says, I'm happy. I love you. And then we get some boom chaka wah boom boom chaka boka boom. And then they bang, bang. Bang, she bang, city, bang, bang, bangity, bang. The Boozy Maz says, bitch was dead inside. She seems as cold as ice. And Tovia Major says she was awful. Kelly says that or VT. That's Veruca Salt, not the band. Not the 90s, the late 90s band. Well, I only saw both versions of Willy Wonka once each. Yeah, it's from the more original version, or the more original version. The more original version. The writer of the book would beg to differ. He hates that version, but I'm more partial to the original version rather than the Johnny Depp Tim Burton remake. Even though I do not completely dislike that movie, and it may in some ways be a little bit more loyal in some sections to the novel. There's just certain, if I'm comparing the two together, that's a different video. I should do a whole video on that one, on comparing the Johnny Depp version versus the Gene Wilder one. And that, I mean, it's not even just to say that those two characters would be the deciding factor, but yeah, that'd be a fun video. Anyways, okay, so always trust the chat. Definitely Judith. She's pressing her chest and breathing heavy as if she's having difficulty. Awesome. Not awesome, but thank you. I watched a video that made the argument, Easy Max says, made the argument that the movie Snowpiercers is a direct sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Is it like The Great Glass Elevator, which is the book sequel to that, which I know a lot of people hate on, but I almost want to do a book review podcast on it because I have an affinity for that book. Didn't Joe like the newer one? I think Joe did. The only problem, I think Joe's biggest problem with the newer one was one of the problems I have with it was the Oompa Loompa issue. I didn't love what they did with the Oompa Loompas. Chocolate Factory was not fun. Second version might have been slightly better, says Jay. I'm like original easy, but there are some elements of the second one I like better. Okay, let me finish the episode and then we'll get into more of an open discussion here, because I'm not quite done yet. So we go to, she's famous, and bam, bam, bam. So then we go to Harald on his throne smiling. Then we get the slow motion girl, the daughter, walking towards the edge of a waterfall. Really amazing view. Floki sees, and I'm glad that we cleared that up, that it is definitely Judith feeling her chest and looking sick in some ways. So we talked a little bit about this final scene in the episode, but the daughter goes and runs to the waterfall. She doesn't care, and she's going to jump, and Floki sees her. Floki tries to distract her, tries to get her to stop, but she does not stop, and she jumps just like a certain Choose Your Adventure. No. I want to spoil, I'm just spoiling Choose Your Adventure Netflix series. And then she just jumps off there and she's gone. So, yeah, and that's the end of our episode. And Floki is mortified, broken. The final nail in Floki's coffin. So next week, we see in the scenes for next week, Ivar has his kid. We get a Lagatha sighting. Hitzak wants to fuck shit up for Ivar and Uba in singles combat. Next week's episode looks really good. Looks like a lot of action, a lot of moments, as we have 3 more episodes to this final season, or second to last season of Vikings. So I just jumped on the lead a little bit. Before we get into a little bit more of an open discussion, last Vikings topic of the evening. I'll still take Vikings questions, but then I'm going to kind of open things up to a after show discussion a little bit about a couple things. We speculated here, the live chat, when Joe was still with us. Like Joe's passed. Joe's rest in peace here on the Vikings podcast. R.I.P. Joe Dirtylocks. Everybody, goodbye, Joe Dirtylocks. Joe Dirtylocks. 1955 to 2019. Vikings podcast killed him. Joe doesn't get to quit. Joe doesn't get to quit. No, I know people are like, don't play that cringe music, Phil. I think that's a quote. Yeah, bad writing on the Issues Guy podcast that Joe quit. No, but this is what I'm saying. I think Joe might be checked out for the remainder of this season. And his words, I believe if you need to listen to Joe talk about this and hear his rationale on it, if you haven't already, check out the end of the year podcast that Joe and I did. He talks a little bit more in detail about why he feels the way he does. It basically comes down to he's choosing The Walking Dead over Vikings. He doesn't want to watch two shows, and he's choosing The Walking Dead over Vikings. His decision may change to a certain extent because they've announced that season 6 is officially the last season of Vikings. There may be spin-off series after that, but next season, 20 more episodes, or right now, 23 more episodes of Vikings to discuss. I will be obviously talking about the last 23 episodes of Vikings, doing podcasts like this. Joe, all jokes aside, Joe will be back with us at some point in those 23 episodes. What's the over-under of episodes? I say 2. Then we'll get Joe in 2 podcasts of those 23 episodes. And some people are like, no, we don't want Joe here. But also gonna hopefully get some other guests in here as well, as we've mentioned before. So it's gonna be fun. Our worst case scenario, I have a lot of fun getting to babble to you guys alone about occasional shows, and Vikings can always be something that we talk about here together. Bernie says, terrible choice by Joe. Terrible. Did we cover Ubba and the Danes? To a certain extent, I think we're going to talk about that a little bit more next week, but we did say that Ubba took control of Alfred's army, and it seems he's going to request singles combat to handle the situation. I only care to know what happens to Alfred. Afraid it's a great talent. It's dead. I'm disinterested, like Joe says, Callie. Tell it all, Phil. Joe can't watch Ivar anymore. And that's the truth. To save your troubles, if anyone cares, Ivar alone has ruined it for Joe. He doesn't mind the rest of the stuff. I could get him to admit that the Alfred stuff was okay, but he'd rather watch Last Kingdom. So he says if Ivar is off the show, if Ivar dies at the end of season 5, he would come back for season 6. Get him on the season opener of the series. Yeah, exactly. If I can get him on only 2, I'm going to get him on the final series, the final episode of the series, and the season premiere of season 6. So, yeah. So, don't worry, you guys. Anyone that just watches our Vikings podcast that may miss Joe, which it's kind of funny that Joe is the one that got us into doing these Vikings podcasts, and he has jumped ship. But he will hopefully be back. I'll manipulate him into being back at some point. The description of episode 18 says, Floki makes an important discovery. Does he discover a subplot story for a damn Iceland story? Can he find a way to head home? Head home. So, everybody, this is as good a time as any to end this discussion. So, everybody, thank you so much for checking this out. This is the end of our Vikings discussion for the night. Give me 1 second, and I'll be right back. Quick intermission. Intermission?
Grab your sword and shield. It's a stolen horse, it's real. It's Groundhog Day on a 3-day course. Final man starts to strafe. Keeps his weapon. If you want to be safe, run around like a stick in the mud. In the fiery rains, in the mouths of floods. It's funny how evil can push politeness. You can't fight. It's a time crisis.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that little break in the action. Break in the action. Oh, whoa. Fucking stupid. I had to run up and fill my drink up. Fill up my drink. Yeah. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. Okay, everyone, welcome back. So I want to talk about a couple of things here. The first, obviously, take any questions or comments from the live motherfucking chat. I guess I should talk about the 5-second clip from the Game of Thrones thing at some point here in this discussion. And yeah, so first off about that, I guess I was definitely hyped with that. I loved watching it. It was really cool to see any clip from the new season. I wasn't kind of overwhelmed to the point where I felt like I needed to come out here and do anything for it. And I put out a post about this, and I'll say it here. It's not that I'm not excited. It was awesome to see any Game of Thrones in any way, shape, or form from the visual standpoint new on my screen. But it was 3 fucking seconds or 5 seconds, and I wasn't. And they have made us wait a whole year. I don't want to see shit until they give us a whole fucking trailer, or at least give us a date. I'm like, as excited as I was for it, and it was really cool to see it. It was almost a little bit, and I know that's how HBO works because it was part of an HBO package. So whatever, and I'm complaining about shit, but I akined it to the Eddie Murphy joke that we've been starving for a whole year and they gave us a cracker. You know, we've been starving for a whole year, they gave us a cracker. I mean, I was like, I'm upset. I'm gonna play this. I want to see this. I mean, I was really excited. I really was. And I'm ready to lose my shit when a real trailer comes. I'm so amped to see more than 3 seconds of footage. But the 3 seconds of footage, and I know you can pick apart, oh, Brienne was upset and she had a weird look on her face. And I know there's fun stuff to pick apart about what they laid through, but to a certain extent, I was a little, not miffed, but I'm so... I have so much bitter energy, and I know get the fuck over it that I had to wait a year. So again, to akin it to another Eddie Murphy joke, and Raw, it's all about Eddie Murphy jokes tonight, I guess. You know, it doesn't give it to you. You still want to do it, but you still want to fuck her, but but then you become angry about it. I'm not angry in any way, shape, or form. I'm excited to see the new season of Game of Thrones more than any television thing I've been more excited for, especially since the final season and 5 points of Breaking Bad and The Sopranos. And this is another television high for me, but similar to The Sopranos. And this is what I was saying. It's not exclusive to Game of Thrones. And this isn't so much about them themselves, because other shows have done this. Breaking Bad was pretty consistent. They gave it to you every year, slapped it right across your face, and 5 and you're out. Bam. You know, like they made you wait a little bit for that second half of that season, but for the most part, it was very consistent. Bam, 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 Bigelow, and you're fucking out. The Sopranos made you fucking sweat. The Sopranos was one of the worst of it all, because they gave you that Kevin Finnery half a fucking season for the final season, and then they made you wait. People forget this shit. They made you wait a long time. Anyone who was into television watching big time at the time that the Sopranos concluded, it was a shitty time, because there was all this news that it may not come back, and all the actors were demanding more money and all this shit, and it was there was a chance it wasn't going to happen, and it seemed like forever, and then they made us wait for that second half of that season. Maybe it wasn't a calendar year. I don't know how long it was. I don't have the dates in front of me, but it still sucked too. I remember it sucking too. This whole year, I want to see a trailer. I'm ready for a trailer. I'm ready to watch it, to break it apart, to get into it. The few second clip there was me starving, and when I watched it, and then I realized what was happening. I'm like, holy shit. HBO has made me hungry for a year and threw me food scraps. So, Phil, don't want the trailer to see anything but the release date until the season premiere. I want to be completely surprised. Good luck with that, Jay. I agree. Oh my God, the way people are freaking out over this thing. I thought it was crap. It was nothing. It was a half a scene. That might even be an outtake. That might not be in the final push. Who knows if it's one of many takes for that particular scene. It was cool to visually see the characters again and see that Jon Snow was coming back to Winterfell in that moment. Sorry, Jay. I'm not going to really talk about it. It was 5 fucking seconds. 5 fucking seconds. It's cool. 5 seconds. It was neat. You would have thought it was dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. One Eddie Murphy joke. He didn't do it. Man, I'm glad. Oh, Eddie. Do Chronic hated The Sopranos. Robert, no, you're so sexy, man. I look at your name and I sweat a little bit. And but yeah, whatever. I'll be honest, it was cool. I liked it. It was awesome to watch it. It was nothing that got me super crazy because they're not. If they had topped that off with the release date at the bottom of it, because to give us something new, like some new information, really, or some more points, but instead just to have it be a part of an HBO package, that's fine. It's not so much that HBO included in the package, but HBO has a package. But I know they're waiting for the proper stage to display this trailer. And this is not on Game of Thrones. This is not on the production of Game of Thrones. The year waits on them. But I'm talking about the way HBO is choosing to produce. The trailer's already made. For whatever it's worth, the trailer is pretty much already edited and finished and sitting somewhere. And an HBO or sitting in a boardroom going, when's the proper time to do this? Should we save up some money and do it in this Super Bowl? Should we do it when people don't expect it? I don't know. Should I get laser beams or sharks? No. It's made. It's sitting there getting ready to be put out. They're just making us salivate. They know the date in April that it's fucking happening. You're telling me they don't know what date in April they're really doing, that it's premiering yet? So they just have to keep it vague in April? Why the fuck aren't you telling me? I know, stop being here. But no, why the fuck aren't they telling us the date? What's the up game? Because they want to leave some mystery? They're afraid people aren't going to be hyped enough for it? Fuck you. Fuck you. In the best possible way. Like really, where in the doll did they touch me? No, where they touched me? They touched me in all of 2018. They touched me all over 2018. They didn't touch anything. What's the upside of not telling us the fucking date right now? I know they're saving it for the trailer. And if they fucking make me wait till the fucking Super Bowl to fucking see this, there's no reason, because it's already done. It's shipped in a can. Whatever. Blubbity bloobity blah blah. Sophie said she had to go for a 3-hour walk after finishing the script. Ooh. Season 6 will be the last season. Death by Iron Cross, Death by Mack Truck. Let's see. Super Bowl release day. I think it's going to be a Super Bowl release day too. Someone said this earlier in a stream that we were doing. I forget. It might have been in the Game of Thrones stream that we were doing. Or it suggested that HBO did Westworld last year in the Super Bowl, and they got a good result on that. It would be a good time to do it on HBO. For HBO, that they're wanting to put a lot of money into this pub of this final season and get as much push as possible. But they could do 2 trailers. It doesn't have to be, but they want to get as much buzz coming out of the Super Bowl as possible. When everyone's talking about the commercials or the trailers, they want the thing that people are going to be talking about after that day, and to get off on the high of the Super Bowl, of that big buzz, to be talking about Game of Thrones and the release date coming out there. I think we're pretty sure it's the Super Bowl, and I'm pretty sure that it makes sense that it should be the Super Bowl. We're pretty sure it's the Super Bowl. Who's we? Am I talking about all the voices in my head? No, I misspoke. I think most of us, that makes the most sense at this point. When's the Super Bowl? February something? But I guess, I don't know. I don't want to badmouth the 3-second clip or the 5-second clip that we saw, but it was nothing. It was nothing. I'll stop watching the game. But that's the thing. If that happens in the middle of the Super Bowl, I'm going to stop watching the game, run downstairs, and have to come on live right away and do a little live reaction breakdown nonsense. I would rather them release it tomorrow morning at 8:30 in the morning when people least expect it. Either way, it's going to be crazy buzzy, and either way, people are going to watch this final season. HBO doesn't need to do any marketing. If you have it, give it to us. You've made us wait so long. I guess that's my point. I don't really have a point. I'm just bitter and stupid. And I'm not bitter. I'm bitter about the calendar year wait, which is all going to be over once it all starts. But again, it's like waiting for a console to come out or a game that gets delayed. I get like that. I'm like, oh, you fucking motherfuckers. Fucking motherfuckers. I'm a little Veruca Salt, and I'll accept it. I want it now. Last year, not having that television moment, like the moment in the TV year where that was the factor, made it a weird year. Jay says, I hope they never release a trailer. February 3rd is the Super Bowl. I think February 3rd will probably be the Game of Thrones trailer release. Even Game of Thrones is worse, is better than most programs. I agree with that 100%. I think I guess I'm more optimistic, just to cut this with some positivity. I'm more optimistic than some are that I think these final 6 episodes are going to be crazy good. I have not high expectations, but yeah, I guess high expectations. I'm expecting it to be really good. And that makes it worse. That I felt like I've had to wait too long for it. Because again, it seems like, no, I'm not going to say it, but I'm not going to bring up old shit. It's happening. Game of Thrones is happening in April. It's happening in April. There's no use crying over spilt bitching. Past bitching. You can go back in time and watch podcasts where I'm bitching about that stuff. So, yeah, I'm just at this point. At this point, we're so close. You've waited now. The events happen. The vacation. It reminds me of if you book a vacation 2 years in advance. And we're finally to the point where the vacation's up here. So is it worth worrying so much about how long it's been? No, we're there. It's 4 months away now. We're 4 months away from Game of Thrones starting. We're within shouting distance. 2019 wasn't the end of 2019 like some had feared. We're getting it in April and May. Bam. Game of Thrones will be over by the summer. At the 4th of July, you'll be talking with your family about how Game of Thrones ended or whatever and all that sort of shit. Yeah, some dude said it's basically 6 amazing movies. It's a hashtag hype. I am so fucking hyped that my hype is real, and my hype is also like, fuck you assholes for making me wait a year. Bring it to me. Like I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. 4 months. I feel like Cartman in that episode of South Park with the Wii and wants to freeze himself for 4 months. 4 fucking months. Just going to be freaking working my ass off over 4 months waiting for this shit. We're going to find out. The people that have followed the book series, whether they like it or not, are going to know what the final beat of the story is by this summer. Some people are like, I'm not going to watch it. I want to wait for the books. Fine. Good luck to you, sir or madam. I feel like I'm the only one who's okay with the time it's taken to release the new season. It's like if it lasts one, so then there's nothing. No, but there's not nothing. Then we're going to get spin-off series. So I'm happy. No, I hear what you're saying, Jay. And it was fun. I'm just at that point where for most of the year I was okay with it. But now that we're in 2019, I'm like, we're in the year that Game of Thrones is happening. My patience is done. I feel like I've been listening to the Guns N' Roses song Patience on repeat every time I feel shed a tear cause I'm missing you. Game of Thrones, you make me smile. Game of Thrones, I think about you every day now.
Was a time when I wasn't sure, cause Sorry, I'm not gonna sing the whole song, but that could be a parody song. I should have done that in the off season. Why couldn't I have thought about that before? I mean, I guess now's the perfect time to do that. Actually, I could. Let me look at the words to Patience and see if I can whip up a quick Patience parody for Game of Thrones. But so I'm very curious to see how the end of this series ends. Okay, so to move on from the Game of Thrones discussion here for a second, I want to talk about a couple of Netflix thingies that I watched recently, or I guess one, and then I'll call it a stream here. If anyone's ever watched Gossip Girl, I know it's a weird transition. I'm like, Game of Thrones and Gossip Girl. Yeah, I'm talking about Gossip Girl here. You might know Penn Bagley. Is that his fucking name? Well, Penn Bagley. There's a series that has been released on Netflix. Surprisingly, digging into it a little bit, I found out that it was a Lifetime series, that a couple of episodes were released, or maybe one episode was released on Lifetime, and then it was put in the can, and then bought by Netflix and released on Netflix, or maybe it was all released on Lifetime. So in September, and now it's released on Netflix. I don't know, whatever. Either way, it's called You. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but if you like romantic thriller kind of stuff, I don't even want to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil shit. But I'll do a Walking David likes it again. But it's just the show is just another dumpster. But it is a very interesting kind of show. The only actor that you would really know from it would be the guy that played the dick in Crocodile Dundee, the guy that was hooked up with the girl before Crocodile Dundee took her. It plays a part in the show. Also, if anyone ever watched the show Pretty Little Liars, I guess one of the actresses from that. I guess some of the writers and producers of the show are connected to Riverdale. It's actually pretty well written and pretty well done. Some of the episodes towards the end get a little unbelievable and a little goofy, but it never stops being entertaining. It's popcorn watching, not incredibly deep, but also very fun, and doesn't end where you expect it to go from the very beginning of it. It's actually a pretty fun watch. Might not be for everybody, so I'm not going to say somebody that might watch someone that might be into Vikings might not be into it. So if you're here checking out the Vikings podcast, you're like, oh, it's gonna be like Vikings, right? And I'm like, no, it's a different kind of show. It's, again, I don't want to talk too much about it because the more I say about it, the more I spoil about it. But it's definitely a fun, interesting, easy binge watch. Birdie says, I really like that. At first, I was like, I can't stand this stalker shit, but it's very cleverly written. Yeah, that Bernie said it in a very generalized way. It definitely deals with stalker kind of stuff and online stuff in some level, and it's at times a romantic comedy. At times, it has more thriller elements to it. It's always kind of funny. It has a sense of humor to it. And what's his name? Penn Bagley or whatever his name is. He gives a very good performance in this role. There's a lot of internal monologue aspect of it with him talking to himself and analyzing the scenes that you're seeing him in real life situations, or his real life situations. And he does a much, much better job than I thought he was going to do. And that's an understatement of how decent it is. Phil, are you saying that being is romantic? Being a stalker is romantic? I will say that this show deals with the fine line of that. That there is a fine line between that. So yeah, it took 10 minutes to hook me in. Me too, pretty much. Right through the beginning of the first episode. I often say I watch some shitty shows. Like I enjoy shows like Beverly Hills 90210, Gossip Girl, The OC, Riverdale. It's a step above those in quality of writing. It uses some elements of shows like that but it also is very outside the box of it and comments on some of the tropes of it and breaks it apart in a very unique, interesting way. I feel like if I start comparing it to other things and I start talking about it too much, I'm going to ruin some of the surprises that it brings you. And the show definitely brings you some surprises. And I think the biggest surprise is how entertaining it is throughout and how tightly written it is for the kind of show it's trying to portray. Excuse me. Some shows may not be your particular cup of tea, and you may watch it and go, this isn't my kind of show. But the show, it's not like if you watch 90210, you're like, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. Oh, fuck. Oh, but I like it. It's bad. It's bad. This is good. Especially if you like shows like that. When you see something done well, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. And this dude, Penn Badgley, delivers a really good performance that makes me feel like I underestimated him as an actor after seeing him in Gossip Girl. Because I always hated Dan on Gossip Girl. And I was like, yeah, he fucking sucks. And with the spoiler alert for Gossip Girl, I guess if you give a fuck, with the conclusion of the series and the ultimate way that ends with him and what we find out about Dan at the end of the series, it always annoyed me. But after seeing this series, I'm like, oh, maybe. Whatever. It's unique. It's unique, but it also looks like everything on the CW. It's crazy. Yeah, Bernie, I agree with that so much. It feels like at times it could be on the CW or a Lifetime show as it was originally produced for. But then at other times you're watching it and you're like, this is high quality thriller kind of stuff. And again, there's certain stuff I want to compare it to, but I know most people probably haven't watched it because they'd scroll past it and go, this looks kind of stupid. And give it the first episode. You'll know after the first episode of this if you want to watch another one. I think most people that can deal with some drama-y, romantic-y kind of CW-y kind of stuff will be pretty hooked pretty quick. And the actress that plays the main actress for most of the series is like the other main lead. I haven't seen her in a lot of other stuff, and I think she was really good in the show too. And I think her group of friends was a very believable group of friends on a lot of different levels, and her stuff that she went through and her character was extremely believable in the same way that Penn Badgley's character was very unique and very anchored the series and was part of the reason why the series had that edge to it and had an interesting subplot. Oh, do you know who else was in it? Speaking of 90210, the original 90210, this is going to be a deep, silly pull. But this is going to have to go for anyone who is actual 90210 fans and watched it till the end, not the people that just know of the show in passing. And people are like, I hope I'm not in this category. But there is a neighbor that has a boyfriend on this show. That's all I'll say. And the boyfriend is played by a character that was on 90210. And the actor has really let himself go. He's one of those people that I'm looking at him through most of the season, and I'm like, who is this guy? I know this guy. He reminds me of somebody. Fuck. Who's he remind me of? And then towards the last episode, I got a closer look on him. And I said, I fucking know who he is. He's fucking Matt from 90210, the guy that almost married Kelly Taylor, but Dylan broke up their relationship. And the Brandon replacement when Jason Priestley left the show. And I was like, it can't be him. Is it his older brother or something? And I looked it up and it is him. And he gained like probably 150 pounds and he looks horrible. The name of this show is called You. I don't want to lie to people that might not be into these kind of shows. It's it definitely has a lot of elements of romantic comedy. The whole show, it tells you what kind of show it is by the end of the first episode. But when you start to watch the show, you're going to think you're watching like the Mel Gibson movie, What Do Women Want, or something like that. It comes off very much like you're watching that, or the Robert Downey Jr. movie, The Pickup Artist, or it starts very light and always maintains that element of it throughout. So, I mean, it's going to be for some people, but I would say by the end of the first episode, would you agree with that, Bernie? By the end of the first episode, you're going to know if the show is for you. So, yes, I would say definitely check out You. Hello, we got the walking fucking David, who I've been showing pictures of all night tonight. David. There we go. We got, ladies and gentlemen, the walking David in the live motherfucking chat. Great to see you. I think what Phil is saying that he used to stalk Stephanie. No comment. Like I said, there's a fine line between stalking and romance. I'm not going to say Stephanie, but because I met Stephanie way late in life, but I'd be lying if I said in my youth I didn't have a few situations that could have been interpreted as stalking in some way, shape, or form. There's a fine line between if you're Lloyd, if you're John Cusack holding a stereo out in the rain outside some girl's house, or if you're some creeperson looking inside a window of a girl you like. I mean, it's a fine line between that shit. Yeah, I've been accidentally showing your picture tonight, David. It's interesting that you happen to pop in this situation. Bernie says, yes, within 15-20 minutes, I was interested. They flash and they show you where the series could go a lot in that first episode. I would say give it the first episode and you'll know if it's your kind of show. Let's see. I saw something about Ian Ziering up there, Ian Ziering, whatever it is, fucking, however you pronounce his motherfucking name. Iron Ziering is in all the Sharknado movies. I can't tell if it's a step up from Down 2-0 or not. I think it's a step. It's almost the same thing. It gets him in the popcorn press a little bit. I mean, those Sharknado movies are fun to a certain extent, but I got to admit, I only usually watch about an hour of them, and then I turn it off and I will watch the next one. I'll definitely watch each one, but I never really finish them. I just watch them for a little while, and then I'm like, okay, I get this gag, and then I turn it off. I'm glad Steve has another gig. He was always a nice guy, especially towards the end of the series in 90210. But yeah, his 90210 fame was very popcorn kind of fame too. Looking at if any of those actors got respect, I mean, Shannon Doherty has her fans and has her respect. Obviously, we got, Luke Perry. He's on Riverdale now, so whatever. Bernie says, step down. I see Fury, good night. Brian Dodd, you're amazing. Amazing, buddy. So, yes, I guess I would recommend this show. Not for everybody. I'd say if you have a affinity for thriller kind of shows, I would give it a shot. If you are at all open to romantic comedies and you have liked any romantic comedy movie or television series at any point in time, I would give this a shot because it is sort of satirical on a certain level, even though it's subtle or not so subtle at times. But yeah, I wasn't expecting much from it and I enjoyed it. The other thing I guess I wanted to talk about a little bit was the Netflix interactive movie. I talked to Joe a little bit about it, but I've watched it a couple of times now. And if anyone hasn't done that, I'm not going to talk spoilers about what happens in the game, as I call it, a game. But I'm very curious, more a question, did people enjoy it that have checked it out? If anyone in the live chat has checked it out. And if they did, is that something you'd like to see more? How would you like to see that develop moving in the future? I absolutely think Netflix will be doing more of that. Simply, I'm going by the fact that they have a little symbol over that now. So you don't create a symbol if you're not going to do more than one. So whatever happened to Brandon from 90210? Brandon from 90210 got into more directing type stuff behind the scenes. He also got into a huge car accident because he got into Formula One racing, I believe. And he got into a huge crash where half his face got ripped off. And then he got a lot of plastic surgery, and you'd never know the difference. But he does mainly behind the scenes stuff. I think from acting standpoints, the ones that have gone on to do other things were, besides 90210 stuff, Brian Austin Green was in Megan Fox. Now, Brian Austin Green was in the Terminator show for a while. Shannon Doherty, she's Shannon Doherty. She's separated herself from 90210. Luke Perry continuously works, but everyone will always know him as fucking Dylan. So, and Ian Ziering, there are some people in this world that don't know he had another band. Some people in the heart of the 70s were saw Wings and were like, Paul McCartney had another band before Wings. There were people in the world that thought that. And I think there are probably people that know Ian Ziering that probably know him and have no clue about 90210. But Jason Priestley never really took off with anything post 90210 other than behind the scenes, really. So yeah. Phil, you have to see the end of Sharknado 2 3. It's hands down, no joke, the craziest shit anyone has put to film. I might have. There was one of them I did watch the end. I'm exaggerating that I never watched any of them to the end. I believe I did watch one. Not the first one. I believe there was one I did watch to the end. What's going on?
First, the people that made it after 90210, Kelly, Luke, Matthew Perry, Kelly, and I don't know, Brandon's done some stuff.
Yeah, Brandon did some stuff more around 90210. Brandon, biggest thing was the Formula One racing and the behind the scenes shit, and then hurting his face. That's what I thought. Let's see. Let's continue.
Shannon Doherty also has done some stuff. She's if you think when I think about Shannon Doherty, I kind of think of Charmed before I think of 90210 now. And Kelly.
And she didn't even finish Charmed, unfortunately. She got screwed there too.
Yeah, I kind of think of that show she did with Amanda Bynes. And then Luke, I guess I think of the few cameos he did in movies like
Fifth Element, is he gonna say?
And Fifth Element and stuff. And also, I heard they're bringing 902. Or they were talking to Netflix about continuing with 90210.
If they can fucking do Full House, they can do fucking 90210.
And the CW show was kind of a continuation.
I did watch the CW show. Kelly was Jenny Garth looked amazing on that show. That show was pretty good at times, pretty shitty at other times. It had a Gossip Girly kind of OC vibe to it. There were some good elements from it, and the person that if out there you guys are the new 90210, a good little connecting tissue from the new 90210. Anyone who's ever had the fortune or misfortune to watch the Iron Fist. I forget the character's name, but the girl character that is, oh God, what the fuck's her name? Danny and Danny's sort of adversary. I forget the character's name on the Iron Fist, but the main actress besides Colleen on the show, the one in Danny's family essentially, was Silver. David Silver from the original 90210's sister on the CW's 90210. So yeah, I fill my brain with this nonsense too.
Kelly and Shannon Doherty in certain episodes, so that show was sort of a certain continuation of the original 90210.
Yep.
So they even mentioned the fact that Donna and David actually got divorced,
yep.
And that Kelly Kelly is still in love with Dylan and shit like that.
Yep.
All right, later.
Yep, they get all into that shit, and there's a lot of weird cameos. Donna Martin does show up at one point in time, and Also, to further complicate things, one of the actors from Melrose Place is on that show playing the main male lead at the beginning, or the dad, the Jim Walsh role, and the wife role, the Cindy role in the first couple of seasons, which is a little bit more like trying to copy the original 90210, is played by Aunt Becky from the original. From Full House, or from Back to School. So what have we learned tonight? We've learned that we can watch some good programs, we can watch some bad programs, we can watch some excellent programs, but we should definitely keep a perspective here. Damn, Jason Priestley's career went flat. Who would have thought that? He was the perfect pretty boy. I mean, that it becomes that when you're on a television show like a 90210 or like any sitcom too much, it's difficult to break out of those roles, even if you're a good performer. And whether you want to break down if the actors on 90210 were good performers or not is a different story altogether. I think Jason Priestley was a acceptable actor, and when he popped up in other things, there's a movie called Calendar Girl he's pretty good in. He's essentially playing a Brandon-like character, but he's still competent in pretty much everything he's in. The only ones of those 90210 actors I would say are like the actress played Andrea Zuckerman, and Tori Spelling's no prize as an actress. But I'd say Jason Priestley, Luke Perry, Shannon Doherty, Jenny Garth are all pretty good actors. Ian Ziering is no prize, but I'd say like the other ones generally all have the main leads. All have pretty good range, especially Luke Perry. People can laugh at Luke all they want, but he has some excellent performances out there. There's a movie where I think he plays like a cop or something. He has like a beard and a mustache, the whole thing. And his whole life's fucked up. A lot of his movie roles have him going through like really emotional journeys. There's another movie called American Strays. It's not a very great movie altogether. It at times feels like a Pulp Fiction clone, but it still has, or it seems like someone like almost a spoof at times of Pulp Fiction. But it's still a fun watch, and Luke Perry's part specifically is exceptionally like well filmed and well done. So yeah, blah 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 blah. And Brian Austin Green married well. Tori never should have been cast. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because Tori got cast because she they didn't know. She says she auditioned under an assumed name, so she got the part. Either way, yeah, go fuck yourself, Tori Spelling. She was better on Saved by the Bell. That was more her speed as an actress. And people can say what they want about their affinity for Saved by the Bell. That was horrible shit. I like Saved by the Bell. I watched every single episode about 5,000 times. It was always in the background when other shit was going on in my teenage years. But the acting on it was pathetic. It was poorly written. It was awful. Saved by the Bell is awful. Saved by the 90210. It's awful. Like, awful. I love it, but it's awful. The dialogue, like most of the shit. I mean, 90210 had a couple storylines that were pretty decent that I'd argue were decent, but you know what I mean. It's like bad. It's bad television. You're watching it. It's great. But Tori Spelling fit better on 90210 fit better on Saved by the Bell as Screech's girlfriend rather than anything she ever did on 90210. Kelly or Brenda? I was always a Kelly guy. Especially early on. Kelly Taylor was my 90210 crush. Hi, Betty. Shannon Doherty is very cute, but I've never really had a Shannon Doherty thing. Like in everything she's in, there was always a girl I was more into. The first thing I ever saw Shannon Doherty in was Heathers, and I was way more into Winona at that point in time. And in 90210, I was always more into Jenny Garth. I think Jenny Garth is super cute to me. So yes. And Tori Spelling by the end with all of her plastic surgery looks like a Ninja Turtle. Me too, Kelly all the way. Yeah, when it was down to like the Luke versus Kelly, or the Kelly versus Brenda section of the series, it was like no brainer. Shannon Doherty is like extremely pretty girl, a pretty woman at this point. But I mean on 90210, pretty girl. It's it's just a matter of taste. But my favorite, if we're gonna get into this like stuff, and my favorite girl to ever be on 90210, and the girl I had the biggest crush on, and probably one of my biggest, believe it or not, one of my biggest like star crush things was a girl that played Brandon's girlfriend and also David's girlfriend on 90210. That was Audrey on 90210. Audrey in the original Vacation movie. Random pull. And who knows, but at the time when I was a kid watching the original Vacation movie, I had a huge crush on Audrey. And then 90210 was on, and I was forced to watch it at first. And then it was one of those things where I watched 90210 with my high school girlfriend. And when that relationship fell apart, I couldn't stop watching the show. And then it just turned into television night, where I would schedule work around 90210 and schedule band practices around 90210. And we would all, and I gathered a group of all my friends, mostly guys, and we would all sit around and watch the final seasons of 90210 together. It was great. But yes, Brandon's girlfriend at a point in time, who was Audrey in the original Vacation movie, was probably my biggest 90210 crush. The acting on Saved by the Bell was Phil. The acting on Saved by the Bell was good. I don't know about that. Oh shit, you're right. I forgot about Audrey. I don't know if she's in other people's category, but I would put her right there. Yeah, but I can't remember who he chose or ended up with. He chose Kelly in that situation. It was you. It was always you. When it came down to Brenda or Kelly in the moment. But he did go back to Brenda and the last thing Brenda did before she left the series was they had another night together. And they kept having moments together, and there was always a connection between Brenda and Dylan, but Kelly was the one for me anyways with that. I'm pretty sure we're losing people. No. I also finished the first season of Sabrina. I guess it's the last thing I'll talk about. I finally finished the last season of Sabrina, and I gotta say that's a fun show. It's not a perfect show. It gets out there sometimes. It gets weird. Sabrina is one of those shows, and I said this before. Now, if you enjoyed, speaking of Charmed, Jay mentioned Charmed earlier. If you like Charmed, if you like the original Buffy, and you like some element of, I was gonna say Harry Potter, the original. There's some element of a Harry Potterness to it at times too, which is funny because of some of the actors in it. It's a decent watch. It's fun. Not every episode is great. It's more of a villain of the week kind of thing with an overarching storyline. But I generally did enjoy the season. It's hard for me to completely take the main actress completely. I take myself out of it because I view her as Don Draper's daughter at times. But she does a good enough job in the part in certain sections towards the end of the season where she basically she owns the part by the end, and I buy it. I think that some of the highlights for me are the aunts. They are portrayed extremely well. If you've seen the original Sabrina, it's nothing like that except for some of the names are the same. And yes, there is a Salem the cat. But I have to say, just in general, it was a decent watch. It was something that I was not forced to watch, but it was on, and I was forced to watch it, and I adapted to it. I TV Stockholm syndrome it to a certain extent, and by the end, I was invested, and it reminded me like I was watching a Buffy Charmed season more than it feels like Sabrina. It more feels at times to me like nostalgic to Xena, Hercules, some of that era of television mixed with a little bit of a modern vibe to it, but it more to me feels like late 90s sci-fi magical shit. If that makes sense to anybody that's watched it. Was Tiffany Amber Thiessen better on Saved by the Bell or 90210? I will answer that in a second. It's pretty good. It does take artistic license. It does. It's fun at times, boring at other times. Could you guys hear my cat moaning in the background and walking all around? Betty, come on. Tiffany Amber Thiessen was a better actress, and the part of Valerie had more depth to it than Kelly Kapowski did. That being said, Tiffany Amber Thiessen was excellent in both parts, and I'll tell you why. Because I think all of those actors on Saved by the Bell gave themselves individual character within the bullshit lines and the bullshit shit that was going on in those parts on that show. I think each one of them held their own. I would say Tiffany Amber got to show her acting chops more on 90210. And I think she was really well done on 90210. I think as much as the show is associated to Brenda in that original stuff, the Valerie age was done really well. And it's when the show got the most popular and got into that next echelon of pop culture craziness. I mean, it was always pretty big from the beginning, from season 2 on, really, but it didn't drop off when Shannon left. Tiffany kind of held it on. So, Jay, to answer your question, I would say it has to be 90210 because she had more to work with. Whereas on Saved by the Bell, she played a one-note character extremely well. Extremely fucking well. And very funny, has really good comic timing. I would really love to see her do more shit, but I think she's like wealthy because of like really smart investments. So she doesn't really have to work too much or try to work. But I always wanted to see her in a movie with Christina Applegate because they're both hilarious and have excellent timing, and I think would work well in a buddy comedy of some sort. But that's neither here nor there. They're two of my like funniest people. They're like, if I was making a list of top like 100 funny people, both of them would be on that list. Like I think Tiffany Amber is very funny with Kelly Kapowski and plays her as a straight character at times, straight men to the shit going on around her and Saved by the Bell. And she's very good at that. Like, you get to see a little bit more work on Saved by the Bell, the college years. But I would say ultimately the answer is 90210. Let's go down to King McKay. So the Ivar speech was almost funny in how clearly he was making himself a dictator, especially when he dismissed Ragnar's sharing of power. I love that. It's so freaking obvious. It was such a fun move by Ivar to do something like that. And the way he does it, it's I'm gonna take your sandwich, okay? I'm taking your sandwich. It's okay. And I'm gonna shit in your face and make you like it. That's basically what he was saying, King. And he does that. That's what's this episode was, and I said it earlier and I said it a lot over and over. This episode was one of Ivar's best. That speech was not him screaming, going over the top. It was tactical and interesting to show how paranoid of a character he is, of a person he is right now. How worried that he needs to. It's like when you lie to somebody and you don't want to put the two people that lie together to get in the same room at the same time. You want to avoid every possible scenario that could connect you to getting busted. And that's where he is right now. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch how Ivar may fall. Excuse me. So everybody, I guess now's as good a time as any to start to wrap things up. It's been a fun night. We talked about a lot of stuff. I like these after shows where I can just kind of go off on a random issues program. I know some people. This is what I figure. If you're sitting through, even though I go off on rants during the Viking discussion too, but if you've made it through, an hour discussion on the episode of Vikings, you could carry through to the second hour with the warning that it's not going to be about that. I just feel bad for the people that click on the video late and go, oh, it's a Vikings discussion and I'm talking about 90210. But either way, feel free to ask any questions in the comment section and any requests for any kinds of videos or silliness. And the way he stared down Hitsuck was funny too. I was saying that as well, King. The way he goes, he's like, yes, and we should be able to kill anyone we want at any time, even one's brother or son or a daughter, something like that. Whatever you want, we can kill him, we can kill that, we can kill this. Whatever. And then when he's sitting doing the bedroom talk with his girl, and he's just staring at her like, I got to kill Hitsuck. I got to do it. Oh, thank you, Booty. Callie says, screw Vikings. More 90210. Hey, Callie, you because that super chat donation, you have one in the tank here. You have a request. I'm not telling you what to do with your request, but you can always request the 90210 review. What do you do when you realize you're wasted and it may not be appropriate? I was just going to call Steph Snow King McKay. Steph Snow in the live motherfucking chat. Great to see Steph Snow. What do you do when you realize you're wasted and it may not be appropriate? What do I do? There's two parts to that question. If you're wasted, you're inappropriate. As long as you're not like crossing too many lines, at that point, you might as well go all the way. If you already crossed a couple of lines, because don't regret shit. I just go with it. The problem I have is I'm inappropriate at all times. I have to constantly fight to not be inappropriate. So, but the real answer, if you want the good truth on like how to do it, it's go home at that point. It's isolate yourself. So you're just inappropriate in your own mind and get away from anybody that you could affect. But like when it comes down to it, how I handle those situations is I act out. I lean into it and use it to fuel my inappropriate nature. What is next for Ivar? Well, spoiler alert, or is asking King McKay, but this is a spoiler alert for the preview for next week if people haven't had a chance to see it. It seems like next week Ivar is going to be the proud papa. He's going to be a father. So we're hopefully in these final two episodes going to get to see the conclusion of this Ivar relationship and see if there's any hope that he is playing some sort of game with this situation, and when his child is born and he's legitimized as his true heir, he can turn to his girl and say, I know you've been playing me this whole time, and I want to be feared. I don't want to be loved. And you're going to fear me because I know this can't be my real son, but everyone's going to think it is. So thank you very much. You're dead. Maybe not go into Phil. Very true. Maybe not go into Phil's love chat. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Phil's Ketchup Couch. Sit down on my lap for the love advice. That's right. I'll answer all questions. All love advice questions from... You got your issues? Baby, you can hear the blues are calling. Tossed salad and scrambled eggs. Well, I feel a bit confused. Well, baby, I got it. But you don't know what to do with the tossed salad and clam. I'm sorry, don't watch Vikings. The Vikings discussion is long since over, Steph Snow. We've gone to 90210, Sharknado, the Netflix series You, which you should definitely watch. And that's right, You, Y-O-U. It's very good. Yeah, we're talking about a lot of shit at this point. It's de-evolved into a random discussion. We had a couple amazing super chat donators tonight. It's been a fun evening of a discussion. Vikings was a big part of the discussion, and I'm still bringing it up. If anyone happens to be popping on in here that has any Vikings questions for however long, and what time is it? It's 1:10. I'll probably be out of here in the next 5-10 minutes. But whatever. If anyone has any questions, last-minute questions for Vikings or comments, feel free to pop them in the comment section right now in the comment section. The chat, the motherfucking chat right now. Now's pretty much your chance. Anything. Any silly questions or questions about Vikings or any show you want, now is the time. As we again, I say we when I'm all alone, but I mean we as in me and you guys in the live motherfucking chat, because we're all putting on a show together here. Let's not chop through the shit sandwich. Haven't checked it since the first episode. Hope you don't still think this show is good. Steve's like, stop shilling for Vikings, motherfucker. I think this season has improved, Steve. I don't think it's the show it was before. It is a different show. It's almost like we got a soft, if not a full reboot post Ragnar. And it's a different show with a different level of expectation. I know you're like, that's fucking bullshit. Fuck you and your fucking bullshit. I do have a lot of bullshit, but I will say this. Is the show as good as it used to be with Ragnar on it? No, it's not. It's not. It's fucking not. No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No. Do I find enough things in most of the weeks of Vikings that I find entertaining enough to keep me watching? Yes. Yes. And the last 3 episodes I've legitimately liked. But I've not liked every episode this season. And a couple I've definitely had some issues with. And this episode was a needed episode that I enjoyed most of the stuff that happened and I had fun with it. But the last 2 episodes specifically were fun stuff. So I'm not saying the people that dropped out in the season should go back and watch it, but at some point there's going to be 40 episodes of Vikings essentially that the Ragnar people get. I think that's what it's going to come down. There's going to be was it 20 episodes without Ragnar this season, or was he at the beginning of this season? No, this whole season Ragnar's not on. So there's going to be a lot, something like, we'll talk about this towards the end. When Vikings is over, I want to calculate there's more episodes of Vikings. If there's going to be more, someone that's good with math can figure this out probably pretty quickly. Are there going to be more episodes of Vikings without Ragnar than there were with him? Did I ever see Young Justice? Is Young Justice the animated series? I've not seen it, but I've heard of it and I've heard it's good. If it's what you're talking about. Can we review My So-Called Life? You want me to talk some Jordan Catalano? You want me to do that? You ready for that? You ready for that? If we did that, I've definitely seen My So-Called Life. I could talk about it, and I would not mind an excuse to watch it again. I think the biggest problem with My So-Called Life is I don't know if I want to get that hurt again with the way it concludes, because it's really horrible the way it concludes. But I would not be against doing a review of that at some point. Steph, keep me honest about that. Bernie, have a good night. I'm just starting to wrap things up right now. Daria, you mean diarrhea? I mean, I have watched Daria. I don't remember it enough. I have much more of a memory as Daria's appearances on Beavis and Butthead. But I did definitely watch that on occasion. My friend Nick was more into it than I was. But I have watched it before. Also, hail Ragnar. If they dropped the Floki bullshit and didn't ruin Ivar, I wouldn't be as frustrated. Steve, you sound very much like Joe Dirty Locks right now, who has retired from the Vikings podcast until Ivar is gone off the show. He is striking. I shouldn't say retire. I should say striking until Ivar's storyline is done. Yes, let's review My So-Called Life. Yes, go to watchcartoon.com and check it out. Young Justice is awesome. I hear Young Justice gives a similar vibe to some of the old 90s DC animated stuff. I think as much as people want to go back and forth with DC Marvel, I think both companies do different things extremely well from a visual standpoint. I think as a whole, even though Marvel, especially recently with the Spider-Man movie, has done some really cool animated shit, I think generally speaking, as a general statement, DC has some extremely great animated stuff out there with the Tim Universe and all that, not the 90s Batman animated series, and I hear Young Justice is really good as well. So yeah. And a lot of those movies are well done too. Did I see Aquaman? I didn't see Aquaman yet, unfortunately. I'm very curious to see the sea adventures of Khal Drogo. Daria is life, says Steph Snow. Vikings Without Ragnar has brought us to the point in a relationship where you know it's over, but you're kind of in denial and you're not ready to let go yet. We've all been there. But I will say, sometimes when you're there in a relationship, you can get back to some point in it. Relationships can be saved. We should need some Vikings couples counseling is what we need. But I didn't see Aquaman yet. But I hear good things. I hear it's a fun watch. Whether it's a good movie or not, I hear it's a fun watch. But yeah, not all of those DC animated movies are made the same. There's some that are better than worse, but I still will argue with most people that the best Batman movie ever is a Batman animated movie with Mask of the Phantasm. I know not everyone loves it, but I also love Red Hood. I like the first Batman Year One, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1 and Part 2. I think Part 1's better than Part 2, but I think both work really well. I think the Wonder Woman animated movie is extremely underrated and extremely well done. And yeah, there's a lot of really good DC animated stuff. And I think even when Marvel puts out something really awesome like Into the Spider-Verse, which is really fucking awesome. Really, really, really fucking awesome. DC still, by sheer volume, kills it animated wise. And it's not about liking what I like both. I don't have any brand recognition there. If I was making a top 5 list of my top favorite comic book characters, it would probably be back and forth. I'd probably say there'd be a lot. I would say Batman, Spider-Man, which, bam, bam, then like Professor X, the Joker. Whatever. The different story, different thing, different podcast altogether. Why am I? This should just be a video with my face on it, going top 5 favorite superheroes. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Share the channel with a friend. Help us keep growing, pushing towards Game of Thrones coming up in April. Going to be a fun season of Game of Thrones. Going to be lots of good times. And once I figure out how to surf this wave of bullshit I'm going right now, and ultimately what that means is I'm in trend figuring out my next work situation and balancing out stuff, going on a lot of fucking interviews, a lot of that fucking bullshit to try to and figure out a different work situation. So once I figure that out, I'll have a better balance of things and figure out more times to podcast. But as of now, definitely be on for Vikings after every episode as much as I can, and sometimes occasionally maybe the day after, and on at least every other Sunday with Joe Dirty Locks talking about something. So if you're listening to the audio podcast, make sure you try to join us here live on the YouTube channel so you can join in the action in the live motherfucking chat and have some fun and babble with some of the best people in the motherfucking world. So, and yeah, if you're listening to the audio cast, let me know you're out there. Give us some iTunes ratings, help more people find our podcast. You can also find us on all the usual places. Add me on Follow me on Twitter at IGotIssuesMan, and you can find me on pretty much most other places. And all that shit helps us out in just to kind of help build and help spread the word. So yeah, love you guys. Talk to you guys next time. Later. Music, Miles. Oi, Phil! Great to see Lady Wolferdin's dead. Gemma in the live chat. Burger King. Good to see Jay. Great to see Steph Snow. Great to see all of our good friends. I'm double Chota boy. Patrons, make sure you guys let me know. We're gonna figure out what you guys want this month for the podcast. Let me. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.